Welcome to another episode of Studio B Sessions. I am Bindra, the owner of Bindra Productions here in Orlando, and we got Mario again on the producer table. Say hi, Mario.
Mario.
Hey guys, how are you today?
It's a me, Mario.
And our guest today, favorite
Yo,
from
yo.
season 1, Sean is
Yes,
back.
sir. What's up?
You're
What's up?
really good DP director. Killing it out there. How's
Trying.
it going?
I'm just keep trying to kill it as much as possible. That's all I'm doing, man. One day at a time.
No, I had such a good time. I think you were one of my favorite guests in season 1,
Thank
so
you.
we wanted to do a
Yo,
good
they might
ratio
be
between-
listening. Been
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? But I was.
No, but the goal was to bring a healthy mix of new guests. But then I wanted to bring some of my favorites, and when I was thinking about who to bring back, trust me, I didn't even have to think twice
Yeah.
about bringing you, because you were one of my favorite guests on season 1. Just because not only are you very talented, but you're also very funny.
Thank
As
you.
a former stand-up comedian.
Yeah, former.
Former.
Yeah, I mean, I still stand up every now and then.
Yeah. So not former. Maybe part-time.
Part-time.
So it's just fun. So what's been going on? So last we saw you was almost 6-7 months ago.
I was in January of this year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest thing, I just been, I guess, I'm not going to say upgrading my clientele, but different types of clients have been coming in lately. So recently I was filming for a private chef company that does food for private jets and stuff like that. I got a cool commercial project coming up, a lot more traveling, but it's always it's the same thing, just an evolved version of it.
Yeah.
So
So let's see what you do different, because last I know you had started, right?
Right.
And you had gone to the six figures that everyone does. So you were already there.
Right.
But in the last, 6-ish months, what have you done to be able to upgrade your clientele? Anything particular that you did?
Nah, I think the biggest thing for me is momentum. So when I hit the six figures last year, it was like, okay, this is crazy. Just keep doing the same thing, and eventually it'll grow to maybe 200,000, 300,000. And the cool thing is, actually, right now, as of 6 months, I'm already at 150. So I'm hoping by the end of the year I can hit 253.
That would be a good trend. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
And things tend to go better during the summer.
Yeah. And as you know, and any other videographers listening, you already built up. Let's say you only made 80,000, but you have all those clients from that year. If you did a good job, they're gonna reach out to you next year.
Exactly.
And if their friends reach out to them, hey, I need video, they're gonna reach out to you. So I think it's just natural that you'll keep making more and building more clientele.
Exactly. So that is the smart move. And then and a lot of things, the best thing I like about it is the longer you do, the better work you do.
Right.
The more clientele you have, that's more people to just dial your phone or email, and the more people who can call you for a gig, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that eventually you just don't even have to look for work.
Right.
It's just coming in, right?
Right. And I will say too, another thing, something I did change. I did change my rates slightly. So I'm me personally, I don't like to just up my rate for no reason. I like to do something to up my rate.
Yeah.
So as you know, I just bought some lenses. First cinema set of lenses. So I'm like, that now that that's an option of what I can provide, my rate has to go up.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean?
So, and if anyone wants to check out, we did do a video comparing because funny enough, both at the same time we bought the Arles lenses.
I think it was
I don't
a
want
day
to talk
apart.
about it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm like, I had a project that needed them. You went to NAB, I think, and you saw the new Lustre versions.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I don't think that many people have it. I know the Vespids are very popular.
Right.
But not that many people
I
have the
think
Arles.
There's only one other person in Central Florida that has your set.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone else has the Lustres.
Yeah.
So I think it's incredible.
Sucks to be you.
Exactly. So, but funny enough, and I will go back to that because I want to talk more about Chinese lenses. But yes, so you've been upping your game. You've been adding to the thing. So what have you been able to change your rates? So going back to it, what they were, let's say at the end of the year to where they are now,
Right.
And how are you justifying it to a client? Let's say that's repeat, because new I think is easier, right?
Yeah, it's easier with new. Yeah. Well, because for my rates, it's always a range. So before I was anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to stay within 1,800 to 25 per day. And that's if I'm just bringing camera and minimal gear. And I think the biggest way I justify, I just kind of just show it's the quality of the work.
Yeah.
So a lot of my old clients, I'll like say, hey, this is a cool project I've been working on, or I just tested out my new lenses on this project. So I kind of just keep them in the loop with other client work that I'm doing. And then they're like, oh, okay, cool. That's awesome. So when I slap that bill on your invoice, you won't be surprised.
Yeah, exactly. So it's mostly your experience, right? That you're adding. Obviously, you added cinema lenses. Is there anything else you added?
Nah, that's it. That's the biggest thing. I'm like my FX6 is the job. As you know.
Yeah, it works. Yeah. Funny enough, we just did a project in Chicago, and Mario was there.
Yeah.
Our whole kit was, I think, 3 FX6s, FX3, and the main A cam was a Burano. And I'm still interested, but that, like, as soon as we turned them on,
that camera yet.
Dude, I was surprised. I was just like, unimpressed is the word.
Yeah.
And obviously it's 8K and all that, but I was just like, FX6 was looking about the same.
Really?
And I was like, this is crazy. So it's basically, to me, the image looked, now obviously we weren't testing it. We weren't out there.
Of course.
Like,
but it's just
dynamic
live in the moment.
Yeah, live in a inside environment, at least there was not that much different, other than just a high resolution.
Because the Burano just has like stabilization. Is that like the biggest difference?
Yeah, I mean, no, it's also supposed to be closer to the Venice 2.
Yeah,
8K, but supposed to have a better sensor, better, every built-in, V mounts like integrated and all that. So it's supposed to be a better. Another Cine Alta camera, like right? That's the way that they're describing it. Somewhere in between that FX9 that is continued and the Venice 2.
Okay, that
right?
makes sense. Yeah,
so it's like,
but it didn't feel like that.
Yeah, like I said, I was highly, was highly interested in picking one up right away, and so the cameras I was eyeing were Burano to add as the A cam, like you said, trying to up it to where having that middle tier. Currently, I don't have it.
Right.
So which is coming out the Arles, why I added them. Basically, the way it works with me, at least, is agencies approach. And if they're high-end agencies, they already know what the rental costs on an RE is, or signature primes, or whatever lenses we're using, Cook lenses. So it's very easy. You just bill them the rental.
Right. Yeah. Here you go.
Yeah. So you don't need to own that type of stuff. But then most of the local or I would say corporate clients, they don't care either what you're using. Or if they do, it's usually FX6s, FX3s. They're in that lower tier, which is fine, which we can service ourselves, pull in that rental revenue ourselves. But there's no middle tier. If somebody's like, hey, I don't have the RE budget, but I want to do something better than the FX6s, that's where I thought the
Burano.
Burano,
but is that middle when it's like $25,000?
Yeah, but it's not $100,000 for an LF. I mean, maybe 60 nowadays you can buy a used one.
I guess you're right.
But also the codecs, it's easier to work with.
Yeah.
Because it's going to work just like a bigger FX6. You don't need a whole crew, around the camera to make it work. I hope that makes sense. So anyway, at least that was the thought process, that I can add a Burano, have a middle camera, and coming back to the Chinese lenses part.
Right.
Basically, I was always against all these Chinese companies popping up, but the truth is it cannot be ignored. They are killing it.
They're crushing
Even though I don't know the length. Like, the thing about Cook lenses is, let's say, for example, they're very expensive.
Right.
But your resale is going to be there.
Yeah,
it's not like, the glass is just going to decrease in value or whatever. As long as you take care of it, you can keep making rental money. It holds its value. There's a certain look that people want. My whole thing with these Chinese companies was that's with, I think, any industry. Every year they're coming out 2-3 sets of lenses. They're upping their game, so the set A, the value is not held. The demand isn't there for rental. So I never want to invest in. Not that I'd never use it. Like I used the Pictors a while back. Like I'm talking 5, 6. Whenever they came out on a project, we rented them. But they weren't like an investment grade product to me. But I finally, after I looked at the Arles,
man,
I was like, this,
this
for the price.
Different. For the price. I think for the price especially.
Exactly. And I was like, this is not. So originally we were gonna rent them, right? For this project, I had like you said, the one person who has them, is who I was thinking about renting them from. But then I was like, you know what? It makes just sense to just acquire them.
Just get them.
Because I saw that middle tier that I can fulfill. Yeah. So as in, that's where they are now. It's like, hey, corporate shoot, G Masters. Right, slightly bigger. Now we can bring the Arles, and you have the rental market of Cooks and signature primes and whatever lenses Ingenue, whatever you're gonna use on that higher tier market.
Yeah, and I think, in my opinion, when it comes to, like, I could buy a new camera. I have the FX6. I could go to red, I could black magic, whatever. But I was like, or I can just level up my camera I already have. And I got the Arles, and I'm like, dude, it's a different. You can tell immediately as soon as you look at the monitor. It's like, oh, that's a big difference.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, now I got a 10%
they're a huge upgrade. Every single person on set. Mario, what do you think about the lenses?
They were great. They were like everybody said, Netflix quality.
Yeah. And that's on the FX6.
Are you sure it wasn't the lighting?
I mean, the lighting helps.
Yeah,
Lighting definitely helps.
The lighting
the lighting helps.
For sure.
But they're sweet, man, and that's the thing you have to do is either you can pay $25,000 for a new camera or what the lenses. I guess if you got the 10 lens kit, it's about the same price. But that's 10 lenses.
Yeah,
because if you bought the $25,000 camera, you still don't have the lenses.
Yeah,
what are you gonna shoot photo glass on a Burano?
Exactly, which you can.
You can.
But you're right, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then lenses is typically, again, I don't know how long these will last because they are again Chinese lenses.
Yeah,
these companies are known to every 2 years throw a new set out.
Right,
but it is a good investment because they are, like I said, for the money they're really good. This is the way I would describe it. Right, like I did in the video. I think, and again, I could be wrong, but this is just what my thought process is. Literally, the DZU engineers in China went, okay, let's order a signature prime from RA. Let's order a Cook, S4. And then they basically put their engineers in a room, said, give us a combination of both.
Yeah.
Because if you feel it, it literally feels, I'm not even joking. In the hand, it feels like a very heavy signature prime. So it's not as lightweight as but the feeling that you get in your hand, the build and everything is very similar. And then the colors that they're using, and then the look is warmer, very much like a Cook look. Not exactly the same, but very close.
Right.
So I felt like it was giving me a combination of both, and which is a good look. It's a very good look.
It's a nice.
So
nice
I
look.
think they're a very good investment. They're very beautiful lenses for the price I paid them. And like you said, it's another tool in the bucket. I don't think it changes anything, but adds
definitely
another
not.
option. Right?
So when you're working with your clients, let's say the job requires a cinema lens kit, and you already have one now. Are you adding that on as an add-on to like your invoice or in the
so
negotiation
it depends.
process?
If I'm billing Sean, then I'm adding it because it makes sense to justify it. I don't know. It's hard. It's going to be hard to tell Sean that, hey, I'm just going to charge, like you said, instead of $2,500 on the shoot, right? And you're like, buddy, because you understand the lingo.
Right.
Where is this coming from? They're like, hey, we're going to use this set of lenses. Here's the extra cost coming from. Makes absolute sense. But typical client that we talked about, my entire process has been that I've dialed it down now. Is just give them one price.
Right.
And there's obviously ways to do many different ways that we discussed last season. But main thing is, it works for me. And I find it gives me as a producer, now this is not as a director DP, I don't care what pre-production costs, post-production costs, right? As long as you have the budget. But as a producer, it's very important to have flexibility. What I find with my corporate clients, when I tell them, let's say this is going to be $5,000 shoot, right? It's going to be a $10,000 shoot. It's very easy then for me to go, hey, this project, we need the Cine lenses. Let's put allocate the budget here. Or, hey, you know what? I can use 2 extra people on set. Let me see who I can get else on the set,
around.
right? I have the freedom, but if I go in the project and already code, like we're gonna have 3 crew, this lenses or this, now my freedom is gone, right? Because I gotta provide that now. It's gonna be hard, technically, contractually speaking. I can't change my. Now it's different as a DP because I'm just being brought in as a role. I can fulfill that role, and then I don't mind. Like, hey, here's the DP rate, here's the equipment rate, or whatever. And it's very common to do that anyway.
Right.
So it really depends on who the client is,
who you're working with.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
That makes sense. Yeah, cause that's something I've been adding on. I'm like, oh, now that I have them, I'm like, if you want my cinema lens, I have photo lenses, but if you want the quality that you saw in that video,
exactly. It's an optional upgrade.
It's an optional upgrade, right?
Recommended and depends on the project too.
Highly recommended.
Exactly. If it's like a corporate project, I'm sure it's not necessary. If you're doing
like a corporate event or something like that.
You're not. You don't need artists. But if there's a project like you said, you're doing a documentary or something, or even high end corporate interview where you're like, oh, this lens is adds the value. That's where you go, hey. This is going to add.
Do you like
value.
Netflix?
What do you think? Yeah.
Then you'll like these.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. I wonder how many Netflix DPs are going. No.
Yo, so have you been playing with any like AI stuff? I think since the last time we talked, there's been a little bit, but like now it's like AI is moving.
AI is everything.
Yeah.
No, we're integrating AI into everything.
Yeah.
Mario wants to use AI to edit this podcast. I don't
really?
know.
Okay.
I feel like the real time cutting that he's doing is more cool.
Right.
But AI, no, I can't live my life without AI anymore.
Already, right?
But something going back to simple, what did exist 6 months ago? Yes, but no, because here's the thing.
Yeah.
At least for me, now I can't speak for everyone. I am authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I write an email, I wrote the email. Now I may go to ChatGPT and say,
make it look better.
Make it look better. Fix my errors or
polish
whatever.
this,
Polish it. But it's not like I'm saying words that didn't come out. I'm not telling it to just write from scratch.
Right.
Personally. And it's speeding up my proposals. It's speeding up my email responses.
Yeah.
It's helping me sometimes gather thoughts like, hey, this meeting happened. Here's some meeting notes. And parse out valuable information, stuff like that, where it can come in very handy.
Yeah.
Now, is it going to replace, 100% of everything yet?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
but there's some amazing tools. 11 Labs. We've been using AI voiceovers a lot from Arles.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cool tools out there.
Yeah.
But nothing, I think, replaces me yet.
Yeah.
And the day that happens, we're fine.
Yeah.
I'll become an AI company. I guess we operate the AI for a client, but right now it's not there yet. But it is a tool. So I think whoever is not gonna use is gonna be left behind. What do you think? What have been you using? Any cool AI tools?
So I've 11 Labs, same. All the Artless AI, Google VO3, all those. I've been using those on a few client projects too. I think when it comes to AI, my opinion is I guess you have the good and the bad. The good side is it lowers the barrier of entry for upcoming videographers and stuff. So it's like before you had to pay for somebody to create your shot list or to create your storyboard. You had to pay for somebody to narrate the video, all this type of stuff to create like, oh, I didn't get that drone shot. It's like I got to find somebody to get that drone shot in New York or pay story blocks to get it. So it's like now I can just pay $10 a month and like I have access to what these people in the higher ups in industry had access to. That's a good thing. I think the downside is people might be relying on it too much. You know, like even for like an email, like I wrote an email the other day. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to write one without AI. I've been writing with AI for the last year. Yeah. I was like, let me just write an email without AI. And I wrote it. I'm like, this sucks.
Exactly, right?
You know what I mean? I'm like, but I used to write emails all the time before AI.
But what's crazy to me is thinking 6 months later, is it going to be just AI talking to AI? I send you an AI email.
That's what I think
your
so,
AI email responds back. Then
summarizes it, like, hey, what do you want me to say? Like, say something. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be crazy. I think it's a dystopia.
Yeah.
Again, I can't predict the future.
Right, for sure.
I think AI is here to stay.
Yeah, definitely.
We, at least in our industry, just need to adapt.
Yeah.
We have always been
adapt or die.
The fast moving industry anyway. Because, for example, just look at what happened to lighting.
Yeah.
For 20, 30 years, 100 years, actually, it was just all that hot light.
Yeah,
and then LEDs came immediately, and first you were like, oh, they're interesting.
Interesting, cool.
But they're not high quality, and look now. Like, I don't own a single hot light, and I don't know that many people that own a single hot light. I was at Full Sail filming the last 3 days, which is a school here locally, right?
Right.
Trains so many filmmakers. Guess what I saw? Everything Aputure.
Oh,
Everything
really?
Aputure. Not a single, not even a Nan light, not even another LED brand.
And schools usually move kind of slow.
Yeah, exactly. So for them to have everything Aputure, I was like, this is what the next generation of students is going to learn on. So they don't even know what a hot light is. They don't know anything.
You know, so speaking of, I know earlier we were talking about Chinese companies. Wait, is Aputure Chinese or American?
Yes.
Chinese?
Yeah. They're all.
Come on.
That's why they come so fast.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So like, when I went to NAB, there's all the companies had their version of the Aputure lights, so the 1200, 600, all that stuff. And I will say, because Aputure is the most pricey one, the competitors are coming in hot.
Yeah.
And the pricing is 10 times better.
Exactly.
And the quality is just because now that they got the science behind the light down, it's like the price doesn't really make sense for Aputure right now, I think.
Exactly. But see, it depends on becoming the industry standard or not.
Right.
Here's the thing. The way I look at it is it's kind of like Cook lenses. Right?
Yeah.
There's a reason people ask for Cook, right? Does that mean there's not been innovation? No.
Right.
Because look at our DZO lenses. Simple as that. Because these companies have been able to come in, They have no legacy to maintain.
Right. Yeah.
They have no rules. Like I said, they don't care that they
what
just
I want.
release Arles. Oh, let's coat them differently. Let's
See
sell
what
them as
happens.
Lustre.
Yeah.
Right? They have nothing to protect, which
Right.
can be bad as you investing into something.
Right. It's a risk.
But as a brand goes, they can move so fast. Just like Aputure came in,
Yeah.
they were like, "Oh, here's a monitor we sell. Here's a microphone we sell.
Yeah,
Then
let's
here's a
find our
light we sell."
space.
Then they realize, "Oh, LEDs moving faster than they
So we're gonna stick with that.
Exactly." And then
yeah.
a lot of people don't even remember what they were selling when they launched. They weren't just a lighting
How much
company.
is the Aputure 6 or 1200?
X is 2990.
2990.
Yeah, so $3,000. But then you need the Fresnel, you need the barn doors,
Right.
So you need to add a lot
So
of
it's probably
accessories
like
to
closer
make
to
it work.
4,000
Yeah,
after
roughly, I
everything.
would say.
Yeah. Cause when we're at NAB, newer, newer.
Yeah,
Everybody newer was like bottom of the
Yeah.
barrel, worst of the worst back in the
I
day.
mean, aren't they still? But
I mean,
they have come up. Yes,
They come up.
yeah.
Like I got a newer 600-watt light,
Yeah.
and it's just like the Aputure 600, same look, same style, same power output.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit more.
You know,
and it's
we got to put
quarter
a
of the
spectrum.
price.
I've got a color meter.
Okay,
we can see
I'll pull
actually
it up.
what's
I'll
coming
pull
out
it up.
of it. Yeah,
My clients can't tell though.
Yeah, no. See, and that I totally agree with what you're saying. See,
Yeah.
the thing is,
You wouldn't use it for like a big commercial, like a big $100,000 budget commercial.
no, lighting's having the same thing. It's just what happened to lenses. You know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, how many choices did you have? Not that many.
Yeah, not many. Yeah.
You had the traditional companies, and I don't think this replaces them. Is what I'm
Nah,
saying.
of course not. Yeah.
But this has brought us options. Like I said, we can offer a low tier. We can offer because these are not the only lenses. They have Vespids. You know, they have zooms that are cheaper. So you have a class of product that now you can offer that wasn't there, and they're getting very close.
They're getting
like
close.
90-95%
Yeah,
there.
I'm like, that's not
for,
bad.
for a lot
For
less.
a quarter of the price.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
like
the
the newer light that I saw at NAB, so it's just like 1200, Aputure 1200. But this one's fully waterproof. Like they had it running under.
Yeah.
It was under a fountain of water, and the water's just draining on it for hours.
I
Throughout
think
the
you
day.
can do that on the 1200X.
1200 too.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is same fully waterproof, same power output, but I think they're selling it for $1,000.
Yeah, which is really, really amazing. But here, and I think that's renaissance has happened in lighting too.
Right.
I don't think it's slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think the biggest thing was first getting the brightness.
Yeah,
of
the
car.
brightness.
Now that we're past the brightness barrier,
So
next
quality.
is quality, which RGB-ACL, which Aputure calls Blair, has figured that out.
Yeah.
I think these brands are not that far, so they're still on LED, I believe, newer and stuff. But give them a year, they'll have RGB-ACL lights, and then the accessibility becomes for everyone, right?
Everybody, yeah.
I don't think they replace it because here's what happened with Aputure. They became an industry standard for LED. Them and maybe Nanlite or Nanlux rather have become accepted. What do you see? It's really hard to get into Hollywood is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not that it matters for us, but what I'm saying is they have been able to get past and they're actually being used on film sets. They're actually being put on a condor up in the air. Like they are out there, they're being used. So now it's no longer like 5 years ago, you were the DZO of lighting, right? If you were using Aputure, you were like using something
like,
new, unique, and what are you doing? You wouldn't find it on that many Hollywood sets. Now, if I showed up with my van, absolutely. Nobody would blink an eye. They'd be like, oh yeah,
cool. Yeah, we know that light. Yeah, put that here.
Put a 1200X here. You know what I mean? Like it's accepted. Will newer be that way? No.
Nah.
But give it 3 years. Who knows?
Who knows?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's moving fast, and which is why being a videographer is very easy now, but I think also very hard to be a filmmaker.
Right.
Because you're spoiled for choices.
Right.
And the way I look at it is there's two ways to look at it. You're like, hey, I want to film my stand-up comedy, or I want to make short films here, or offer some corporate package. It's fine. Go whatever camera you want, quite literally whatever camera, couple of lights, a couple of good mics, you're done. You're spoiled for choice. It doesn't even matter. You pick a newer Z1, it'll be good enough.
Right.
The problem happens is now you're like, I want to now go in bigger sets, or I want to work on something bigger. Now it becomes harder because you have to buy again standard stuff.
Right.
But when standards are changing so fast, it's very hard to invest in equipment.
Yeah.
Because right now, let's say FX6s are the standard, right? I find in corporate, commercial, mid-tier work and lower, quite literally the standard. They're even making movies on FX3s now. So, but those are the cameras that have like penetrated the market. But what stops Sony from coming out the next one? They're 4 or 5 year old cameras, right?
Yeah.
And then you invested in FX6. today you have high resale on your camera.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
They're good investments, but as soon as the next one comes out,
You know.
will it hold the value?
Right. Yeah. I think I hear what you're saying, but I feel like for a lot of people, the biggest issue is people who don't invest at all.
Yeah.
You know, because like I know.
I think they're smarter.
You think so?
Yeah, because right now, look, okay, here's the way I look at it. You go to a client, and again, there's different ways to do it.
Right.
There's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
But nothing stops you from finding the company. Let's say you're actually talented and creative. Go to the client. Let's talk about corporate filmmaking, right? You're like, hey, your website's old school. Your photography's like trash. How about we come in, we replace with high-end photos, we get you a new website, we get your all video content, we make a plan for social media, right? The whole shebang.
Right,
you come in, you bring a Sean in to do the video part, we bring a photographer to update the photos.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can even do both. If you want to take on both sides of it. But what I'm saying is, and then you hire a website designer. There you make majority of the profit, and not saying, Sean, you wouldn't make money, right? You'll take your let's say $2,000 or $2,500 rate that you want to. The photographer will take their $1,000. Let's say they want to. But point is, the person who's making most of the money,
right?
Who's gonna go sell this to the client and execute on it? Now they have to be able to execute it.
I guess
they
it
have to have
depends on
zero
your
investment.
workflow.
Yeah.
I think it depends on like what kind of clients you're working with. You know, if you're working all the time and you're constantly having to find somebody to rent your camera from, it probably gets a little complicated at some point. You know.
Yeah. But I'm saying then you have so much freedom though. Because
Right.
if Sean says I'm not available, hey Bindra,
Yeah.
you want to come shoot this project with me? You see
Right,
what I'm saying?
right,
You're
right.
not limited. And then let's
Right.
say if Sony comes up with the FX6 Mark II, and again, you could become I'm saying the person who's selling the video
Right,
to the
right,
client. You could become the budget option,
Mhm.
and now you could go. Let's say Sean, you decide not to upgrade. You're like,
Right.
FX6 is good enough because it's not like the camera's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
So now he's like, hey, can you cut the rate a little bit? The camera's not value. You're like, sure, I'll do it for $2,200. I'm just
Whatever
making
the
up.
rate is.
And versus I upgrade and I get the new FX6 Mark II. So it'd be like, so now you have two options to the client. You're like, hey, we could do it at this price point,
Right.
or we can do it at this price point.
Right,
You see what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
You didn't have to make a zero investment. So now you can
Yeah.
use FX6 Mark II or
Right.
FX7,
can-
whatever
you
the
can
age, whatever they
juggle.
call it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is the both approaches are correct. It
Yeah.
just depends on what's right. At the end of the day, I'm saying if you want to make money, here's not the way.
Right.
Yeah, but if you love video, then you want
Yeah.
your kid, you want to have something to be
I
able
guess
to
I
offer.
haven't seen a lot of people do it that don't have gear. Like you're a good salesman, right? Like you know how to like kind of pitch yourself and like
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'll tell
Yeah.
you, the recent project I closed not even a week ago, right
Right.
now, and guess what? They called me. They said, "Hey, let's get on a call. We want to make a few videos,
yeah,
and here's the scope." They had the videos lined up, rough idea. Obviously, they want my help,
right.
but I was like, "Sounds good." And I was like, "What's the budget?" They were like, "Well, we don't know."
Mhm.
Like, well, you've hired me a few times. You know what this type of things cost. Are we gonna make something really good?
Right.
And what are we? So what part of video we're looking at? They gave me a price. I said, you gave me a price times that by the number of videos. That's the total. Let's do it. And we're like, let's do it. I hope that makes sense. At no point did we talk about how many people on set, how many shoot days,
But this is
how many
you,
cameras.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But I didn't
Yeah.
do any sales.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense because
Yeah, yeah.
I have the relationship.
Right. Yeah.
I have built that trust.
Right.
But the sales is no sales. Like you called me, you were like, "Hey, dude, I'm doing
Yeah,
commercial.
yeah,
You want to
yeah.
help?" I was like, "Absolutely."
Cool.
I don't have to sell you on anything,
Right.
Because you have a trust. If
Right.
Bindra comes,
He's
or-
coming with
yeah, everything, and I'm gonna take care of you
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that's what I do with my clients. So
Right.
same thing as this client doesn't mean I won't take care of them,
right.
but we didn't have that discussion. So what I'm saying is,
So
I don't know.
let's
Equipment doesn't
use-
sell anything.
let's use because like you've been in the industry for a long time. Everybody knows you. We know what you have. We know the quality that you bring and everything. But you have a newer guy on the scene who doesn't have anything, right? I don't think he'll be able to tackle that call the same. He probably won't even get the call in the first
Yeah.
place. So it's like you got to come to the table with something,
Yes.
you know. So you
And I
need
think-
a way to build your
yeah.
portfolio, build relationships, to know people. But like, if you don't have anything, I honestly probably wouldn't hire you on my set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
like
but see, it's different. Though
Yeah.
that'd be wrong approach.
right.
If somebody is new, let's say just out of full
Right.
sale, and they go, "Hey, I want to be a DP on
Yeah,
your set,"
yeah,
you'd be like, what? hold on a minute.
Yeah.
I think the
You got a
approach is.
referral?
I think the approach would be and again, everyone has their own approach, but the way
Right.
I would approach it is simply as just meeting you.
Right.
I think meeting you is a bigger value than being on your set first, because
Right.
you have so much now wealth of knowledge. You've been doing this a few years. You've figured out, you've cracked the code, which is
Right.
how do I make a livable income doing
Right.
this?
Doing
'Cause
this, yeah.
this is fun. Let's
Right.
be real. What
Yeah,
we do
yeah,
is
yeah.
cool,
Mhm.
right? And so being able to do this and make a living is awesome, but so many people haven't been able to figure
Right.
that out.
Right.
So I think just being able to tap into you and be ask you questions. What would you do now? Now,
Yeah.
what would you do today?
Yeah.
Because like we said, industry moves so fast, and you in one coffee could give them good advice that I
True.
think worth it. The second thing I would ask is, hey, let me come be on your set and do BTS, something where
Something where you
yeah,
offer
and once
value,
you have
yeah.
get their vibes right, you think, yeah, they're not gonna bother my client,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
can learn.
You're
'Cause-
not weird. All right,
yeah,
great.
exactly,
Yeah.
right? You gotta just
Yeah.
observe.
Right.
I think that is where I would approach it, not straight to the client. You're right.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
nothing stops you if you have enough knowledge. Let's say you've been
Mhm.
on a few sets. You understand now how Sean approaches his
Mhm.
clients, and you approach a company and you sell them on a project, and you know for sure you can
Right.
execute it. Nothing stops that person now coming to, hey Sean, I have a client that I need your help on.
Right.
Would you DP this project for me? The same
Right,
person who
yeah.
is now asking you for coffee could now hire you, and then they could go, hey, what's your rate? What you gonna take on this, right? And then that's the negotiation that you would
Yeah.
have, and now you can bring your years of experience, all the gear that you have,
Right.
without this person having to do anything.
Mhm.
My entire point is the most successful filmmaker I know owns very little. They're
Right.
using Reds, but they're like 10-year-old cameras. You could buy the Red for $1,500.
Are they they're a DP?
No, they're production company.
Production company?
Production company.
Mm-hmm.
3,
Like out
4
of Texas
people.
or something?
Yeah, one of these
Yeah.
states.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
say bad thing because
Yeah.
let's be real. They make awesome videos, but the
Right.
tools they use
Right.
are very old tools. They're like
Mhm.
very old Red cameras, very small team. But they're making 7 figures, right?
Right, right,
They're
right.
they're killing it because the videos are fun to watch.
Right,
They're
right,
not
right.
cinematic videos,
Mhm.
but the videos are fun to watch. They have good stories.
Yeah.
Videos that people want to share. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, that makes
and
sense.
that makes them $1 million using literally the most rudimentary tools. Because like I
Right.
said, it was good at one point when they bought it,
Right.
but now the company's 15 years
Yeah,
old.
yeah, yeah.
It's old school, and they
Right.
never saw the need to upgrade because they're like, well,
Gets the
if-
job done. Well,
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of what I was saying. Like, they're still invested in some way,
yeah,
but they're not. They don't have the gear acquisition
Yeah.
center where they're constantly buying the newest.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily the newest, but you got to be in the game in
Yeah.
some way, shape, or form. You can't have nothing
yeah.
and like
And I would love to collaborate. For example,
Yeah.
with this person I'm talking about, I wouldn't hire them as my DP,
right.
but
yeah.
I would love to bring them on as like a producer and be like,
Right.
hey, how do we make
How do we make something like you? Like
you're doing right. Like
Yeah.
we got the technical side, and it
Mhm.
could be the opposite. Not that I don't make creative videos, but a lot of people bring me on as the technical side just
Mhm.
because I'm so into everything. Where they're
Right.
like, hey, I don't know what's the latest, the greatest. Whipple, just come on set. You take care of the equipment and the
Right.
gear. And I don't mind helping friends where they will focus about the client, the story, all the the
Mhm.
creative side of it. And I'm happy to come in. And even then, a lot of times I'm solving problems because they're like, so we want the light here. Where do we put the light to get the
Yeah.
light that we want, right? So it is creative and technical at the same time. But what I'm saying is they didn't invest in things. They don't know whether 1200X is the latest
Yeah.
or have it or not. But I guess there's where do you fit in? I think
Yeah.
that's where the
That's-
summary of this
yeah,
I
yeah.
see is
Mm-hmm.
like you are carving your own path.
Yeah, finding my
We're
own
like-
clients and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is the value I bring.
Mm-hmm.
And having the right tools is a value.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And a tool is knowing someone like Benja Productions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I know you. I have a couple other gaffers I know.
Yeah.
I mean DPs, everything. It's like your network is something you also provide to your
Exactly,
account.
right,
But some
yeah.
people don't have that either.
Yeah,
you know?
and even if you acquire gear, my entire thing, it's not always like, for example,
Yeah.
the shoot that we did recently, and like I said, we were talking about with Esteban. It's like we needed Pocket 3s. I don't own those cheaper
Right.
cameras, right? Makes me want to buy one,
Right.
but I needed Pocket 3s. We found people who had Pocket 3s, so now
Right.
having a Pocket 3 was a value.
Right. Right.
The
right.
people in that set were because they had Pocket 3. I hope
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it makes
Not-
sense.
He was like, I have an FX6, FX3. I was like, no, I don't need any of that. I got those too.
Yeah.
I need you to bring your Pocket 3.
Yeah.
So sometimes you never know. I'm saying
You
you're
never
right.
know, yeah.
Gear is a tool and it's an asset because
Yeah.
you can get called for
Right.
having specific things, and it doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily have to be expensive thing like my
Right.
FPV
Nah,
Pilot
definitely not.
had a DJI action camera, and I was like, oh, perfect on his FPV drone.
Yeah.
Because we were shooting now with Pocket 3s. I was like, oh, it'll match perfectly.
Right.
Right. You fit right into the production. Come on, even though it's a $350 camera, I'm hiring him for his extensive FPV skills.
Right.
But the camera being able to match with the Pocket 3 was the selling factor.
Right.
So you would be amazed, like a $350 camera
yeah.
can also be the factor where, because he could have been like, no, I only have GoPro.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, let me hire this other FPV pilot who has
yeah.
a matching camera. Not that there's that much different. It just for workflow made sense.
Right.
And it fit. Yeah.
I guess too, like it depending on it doesn't necessarily matter the tools you have. 'Cause I know plenty of people who have FX6s that are hitting me up like, oh, how do I do this? I didn't know you could do that with FX6. Oh, why does yours look like that? I'm like, you got the same camera I got. It's more of like you said, the FPV Pilot. How do you use those tools? You know what I mean? So if you got a 10-year-old camera, a Canon, whatever, but your quality's looking better than these guys who are doing it with the FX6, you can still, you can still make some moves with that.
No, you're absolutely right. Knowing your tool, it's like taking a very successful, let's say very experienced construction person and saying, hey, we're going to take your DeWalt or Milwaukee tools
here's a
away.
hammer.
Here's cheaper Walmart tools. Will they struggle? Yes, but will they be able to make something beautiful? Yes.
Right, yeah.
And strong, because...
And I would hire him any day over the new guy who has all the
Milwaukee and all the
tools.
best tools. Now, the right combination, and this is where people get it wrong. Some people are like, gear don't matter, or whatever, skills don't matter because the gear does it. The whole thing is the right person with the right tools.
Yeah.
So both arguments technically fall flat, but at the end of the day, the way I look at it, at least in corporate commercial filmmaking, here's the truth. Can you do it sustainably? There's no point not having tools or having tools if you don't have clients.
Right.
If you don't have people who get value out of what you do,
right,
and they're willing to pay for it, the truth is the most high-paying clients do not give a crap about the camera I have.
Yeah.
But they do have a trust factor that I will bring the right tools and the right people for the job, right? And that's what I think is more important. Building a network, building trust, finding those clients. Because I bet you your clients love you not because you have the Arles, but because what you create with the Arles. But having the Arles helps to help you create. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
it's like double-edged sword in a way. It's weird. Yeah. Because my clients, I will say the gold on the lenses, it's like, oh my God, this is crazy. But they're not gonna pay me more just because they see the gold. It's
exactly.
More, yeah.
But the way I look at it is very simple. Being honest with you, Sean, I'm like, hey, if I need now Lustre, and you have them available that day, guess what I'm doing? I'm calling you. I'm bringing them on set, and you get some rental money. And now I didn't have to spend $10,000 buying those lenses. Right. That makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
I think, and same thing. I'm sure you there's a project. You're like, hey, they don't want that
amber color.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They don't want the vintagey look. So but I love the Arles. Can I borrow your Arles whip? I'm like, sure. Some extra money in my pocket. They were not being used of that day.
Right.
And we both win. But by having the right tools and then having the right network. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
the more you know.
So I think exactly. I think that's why when I heard, I was like, this is amazing because I wanted to buy the Lustre, and I made the decision to buy the non-Lustre ones just because they fit better in what I do. But that does not mean I won't have projects where I need this. And you never know. We could probably bring you in, if we can afford you, right, as the DP on that project.
God, don't do that. Friends,
your rates will be up another more in 6 months
it's
when I need it.
It's up for clients, but for friends, I got you.
No, it's the same thing. Yeah, no, I do the same thing, helping friends out. But you get the point. We both win by knowing each other and having but also different tools actually. Because if we both have the R lenses,
that's a key.
Then who's winning?
I think even the FX6 is a popular camera, but that still kind of set me apart from a lot of people that I knew. I'm like, I only know like maybe 10 people that have FX6.
Oh really?
I know you probably know. You probably know a lot.
Everyone has an FX6.
Yeah. Well, I guess I know 10 people that I like that have the FX6.
There you go. The like. Add the like.
Yeah. There's a lot of people.
One of them?
Yeah. You're one. You got two FX6. You're two of them. So I think like it kind of adds some value because like people like me, I like them. So it's like, I want to hire somebody I like that has a camera that I need.
Yeah.
Versus if I had like a ZVE 10 or something like that. It's like I like you, but like your camera isn't what I need, you know? So
Yeah.
it's
No, before I had 2, funny enough, because when I was going through my transition,
ZV-10?
no, not ZV-10, the FX6 I'm talking about.
Okay.
Before I had 2, because
Yeah.
I transitioned
had
a
the
couple years
Canon.
ago from
Yeah.
Canon, so I had bought one, and then it took me a bit to say yes to the Sony ecosystem.
Yeah.
Point is, I actually hired someone just because I needed a B cam, and the only reason I hired them, they were a good person, but it was because they had the FX6.
Right.
I needed that camera, and I needed someone who can operate that camera.
That knows how to use it.
Made it very easy to decision to get them, you know?
Yeah.
So you're right. Gear will get you jobs.
To an extent.
Yeah, but if you
don't
showed
rely
up
on it, you know.
Yeah, but if you showed up and you didn't have the skills to operate that camera,
right?
I don't think you would
to think
get
on the
there.
fly, you know.
Because if I give somebody for example, like I'm like, here's the keys, take my van. I don't think most people will even know where to start.
Right.
If I'm making real sense, not saying that it's something difficult. It's just it takes years of experience, right?
Right.
Of how to set up this specific thing with this specific thing. This accessory goes here. If you don't even know what you need to grab, you see what I'm saying? Like, even though it may just be a knuckle that you tighten here, but I have a grip, for example, milk crate, right? That has like 50 different grip things in there. If you have no idea which one you need,
right,
you'll be all there just figuring out something that would take me 5 seconds to figure out, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that gear, but if you also needed a certain knuckle and you didn't have it, it doesn't matter how much skill you have.
You don't got it. You got to find it. But like I work with Oliver a lot, and like Oliver, he's not necessarily he's more of a DP than a gaffer, but he knows a lot on how to make things happen. So like we'll get on set, I'll shoot, and let's say we forgot that knuckle that we need. He knows 5 other ways to make the same thing happen,
right?
You know? And that's super valuable.
Yeah, and same thing with me. That's how I ended up even being hired sometimes to do a gaffing job, because I'm primarily a director, producer, DP, right?
Right.
But then somehow I've ended up on my friend's set doing audio or gaffing, and it's because when you've been doing this so long,
you've been in so many different roles.
I've been around some of the really talented gaffers throughout the country. You learn and you pick up things and you go, oh, okay, I can do this.
You can do that with that.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. And I can set up things and whatever. And the reason that gives me, funny enough, a competitive advantage is because now I'm in a smaller market, and most gaffers here are, working with tools that are, let's say, non-industry standard, because that's, like you said, they can just buy newer or whatever. That's what they have in their arsenal, because the rates are lower. Then I can come in, if a production comes in from LA, they're like, hey, we're just looking for this. And you're the only one who has all this. Cool. So you can write plug and play, plus they don't have to describe to you what they want, how to make it work or whatever. They just say, hey, I want this. I can go in. I already have the skills, set it up. They get value, and I get value. Everyone wins. So everybody
wins.
Yeah, that's been a really nice thing since we deployed the van in the beginning of the year. I've been able to just plug into productions without it being a hassle to anyone.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that's replaced my primary income. Let's be real.
Of course.
Which is why people are like, I've had a few calls. They're like, hey, I want to build a van or whatever. I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah. In Orlando.
They're like, would you financially recommend it? No.
Yeah.
It's not.
You already had all the stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it makes sense.
So it made sense. But also it made sense because I had the clients and the jobs.
Right.
So to justify it.
And the network.
Yeah. So it doesn't make sense to, I said, if you ask me business wise, for you to buy a rental, like a grip van or whatever in Orlando. No, plus also where the industry is going. The industry is compacting. People who can do shoots with less people and less gear are who are going to be successful, not people the other way around. Yeah. Does that mean setups will go away? No.
Nah.
But you're doing a commercial. You're not going to have 50 people on set. No. It just doesn't work that way anymore. You're like, hey, we have the same amount of work, but now it's going to be done by 5 people or 10 people, right?
Yeah.
That's just how productions are moving. And people who fit in there is who are going to be successful. Yeah. And the way, at least what I'm doing, is building that. Yeah. That's what I enjoy, and I want to be able to plug into those productions. And that's where I see the industry going now.
You want to get deep?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Shut up. I feel like society is moving, like the everything you just explained is moving towards a direction where we have more time, but we got to fill that more time that we have, right? Yeah. So like Like those hot lights we were talking about earlier, super complicated setup. Gotta wait 15 minutes for them to cool down, everything like that. So it's like everything is moving. We got more time because it's quicker to set up, quicker to use, easier to use. But now we need you to use that time more. So it's like the commercial that we're doing, it's a smaller crew, but like you're doing more stuff than somebody would have done 20 years ago. And I just had to do one thing. I gotta manage this one light.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I feel like even with AI, everything is just like, oh yeah, we got more stuff on our plate now.
Exactly. Now, is that good?
Is it
I
good?
mean, you want to go deep
Let's
with
go
society
deep.
because you're like, hey, 5 years ago, I would have paid you $1,500 to just operate a camera.
That's it.
Now I will pay you $1,500, but you got to operate the camera.
Set
you
up
got to
the
bring the
light,
lenses.
audio.
You got to set up audio, or you got
Uh-huh.
to set up set decoration.
Yeah.
You got to do so much more. And the biggest thing, the $1,500 now means way less than it did 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So technically, you're working for in that terms. You're working for $500 now. If that makes it the value of the money.
Yeah.
And you're doing 4 people's job.
Yeah.
So, but so that's the truth.
That's
but
the truth
we
of
can
it,
also sit here and go, "Oh, that's not right. That's not," but the truth is, I feel like if you don't move, then you're the dinosaur. Like you don't change with the time.
Yeah.
That is what's expected of you. Now that's where the new tools come in. The AI, all these LED lights, or the cameras, or whatever. Everything's making our job. They didn't even have this much, like what Dynamic Ranger FX6 has. They didn't even have in the first, digital cameras they started using for movies. So people complain about equipment like Pixel 12 or this, and I'm like, we already have cameras that are good enough. For corporate and commercial video. They're easy to rent. They're everywhere.
They're all over. Yeah.
Like you said, you want to use Pixel 12K as long as it's released, because I know finding it would be the harder thing just because of availability. Not that people don't want it.
We might go 6K.
Yeah. If not, they're everywhere, man.
They're all over, yeah.
So you have choice. Like I said, we wanted to use Burano, we used the Burano.
Right.
We didn't have to go, oh, where do we find this? It was like, oh, who has it? Okay, hey, let's make deals. And whoever gave us the best deal, let's get the Burano. So I feel like equipment has become way, way more accessible, which is why I was saying, like, yes, equipment matters, but coming back to it, the investment in it doesn't matter. Because in the past, you could have bought a camera, 10, 20 rentals later, it's paid for itself, right? Not anymore.
Yeah. No.
So rental income is not worth it anymore.
Yeah.
But if you have jobs where you can use it,
that's different.
Where
that's
the
where it
money
comes
is.
in. Yeah.
Because now what's happening is, which is why rental houses seem to be disappearing. What people are doing, and this is a very common thread, is making that money lost through any jobs you can bring equipment.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do is like, hey, you can't up my DP rate. How about we add these lenses, or we add this camera package, or we add whatever package you want to add. And sure, you won't charge as much rental rate as like a rental house.
Right.
But you're still adding that to
to
you, right? How that makes sense. That's how at least I see people in the industry offsetting the lost income per se, I guess, inflation or whatever.
I was working with a production company out in Boston a while ago, and I might have said the story last time, but for people who didn't listen, I'll say it again. They were talking about how a lot of their jobs had to be like $50,000 and up, or they just were losing money because they have so much crew to pay for, equipment, they had a facility, all this stuff. And the people like myself who are kind of like more grassroots, independent, small team oriented, who can like, I see $10,000. I'm like, that sounds great to me.
Yeah.
I was winning over them because especially like, the economy wasn't the best last year. And clients are like, yeah, 10,000 sounds way better than 40, and we're getting the same quality. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make $3,000 off of this. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So he was like, it's for those bigger production companies, it's kind of hard for them right now.
Yeah.
To compete.
And because they're not pivoting.
They're not
right.
pivoting.
They gotta pivot, and and that's just, again, and some are. Let's not be real. Not it's not all that are going to go downhill.
Of course,
but that happens when
are.
there's when there's a change in the industry. And to be real, this isn't like overnight. This has been happening for years.
Yeah.
It's people just need to see where it's going.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's again giving value. Like coming back to it, I am a video company, right? That doesn't mean I can't hire you. Seems even though you're a video company, right? Because as long as you come in and you can give me some value, I'd pay for it, right?
Yeah.
So I think people need to come back to the lowest of lowest, It's just value. It's not that complicated.
Yeah.
It's somebody comes to you, and whether they have $500
Right.
or $5,000,
Right.
you need to give them the right value.
Find
and
it.
if you're there
Yeah.
where you can, like you said, if you're in the career path where you can take 500 and you can give them huge value,
Yeah.
you're the guy.
Mhm.
And if you can come in and take the $5,000 and give them the value,
Cool.
then you're the guy. Because
Yeah.
there's two ways you can approach this, Sean, right? Let's say you are now a few years into your career, 5,000 means nothing to
Right.
you. Inflation's even worse.
Mhm.
So right now you say, oh, give me 10 grand or 5 grand.
Yeah.
I'll make you sick video.
Yeah.
Then they may call you and they may go, hey, I've got 5 grand. Can you do this? And you'll be like, I'd love to, but unless you can up your budget to 15K or whatever, I
Right.
can't.
I
That's
can't
just the
touch it.
minimum.
Yeah.
And then, but there could be one scrappy guy, then,
Right.
Student out, and they're like, hey, 5K, I got
Cool.
you.
I'll do something.
I give this FX6 Mark IV, I don't know, whatever the
Yeah,
old
yeah,
school
yeah.
camera then
Mhm.
is. And they're like, for that may be like too old,
Right.
but it may be value enough for that client.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, that's why I say there's no competition,
Right.
because everyone's doing their own thing. You just have to give the right value.
Yeah. Yeah.
If a client picks me, you, or any other random person listening to this, it's not a competition. They
Right.
found the right value. And if I didn't win, let's say, the project, the way I do it is just go back and say, like, what could I have different to give
Right.
them more value?
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
that does not mean lower my rate.
Of course.
That's completely different.
Yeah.
People think value means just it's like, who can make the best video at that $5,000?
Right. Yeah.
That's all that is.
And do that.
And it doesn't mean you have to be the guy at every price point.
Of course.
Right? There's
Yeah.
a price point,
You
like you
gotta
said.
have your threshold.
You're like,
yeah.
hey, I'm at 10 grand. I can kill it over
Yeah.
this 40K people.
Yeah.
And then you are the guy to get those jobs.
Right. Yeah.
5 years later, who knows? You'll be the guy for those jobs. You may be a
Right.
guy for different jobs. Who
Right.
knows where you, like you said, where your path
Yeah.
is headed. But that's where you want to be. You want to be the best at what you do.
At what you do. Yeah.
Whatever that is. And that's where for you to define,
Mhm.
I think, and your clients to define.
Yeah.
Because it can't just be you, right? You could be like, I want 40 grand. Doesn't mean
Yeah,
people
it's
will
like,
pay it.
Yeah, a while ago I learned. I mean, this is kind of something I live by in my business. I try not to leave money on the table. A lot of it depends. I have my threshold that I'm like, hey, look, I'm not doing nothing for $200. I'm sorry. But if a client comes to me and is like, hey, man, I want X, Y, and Z, all this stuff, and I have $2,000, I'm like, well, you can't do that for $2,000, but with your 2,000 we can do this, you know? And I've seen people turn away clients because the number's too low. I was like, no, like if the number is nice, is decent, try to find a way to make it work. Just give them less.
Exactly.
But give them the quality. But it's like I can't give you 5 videos, I can do one. You know,
Exactly,
but the
no.
quality is gonna be crazy. You know?
I totally agree. You
Right?
got to find the and then that's the negotiation part, right?
Yeah.
You figure out what's the best you can do for them. And I'm sure most new clients is different.
Yeah.
If it's a repeat clients, usually they just come to you.
Yeah.
But if it's a repeat a new client, I'm sure they're talking to a couple other people. But if your bid is the most strong, you'll win it.
Right.
It doesn't have to. People a lot of times are afraid. They're like, no, I have to say yes to 5 videos, or I'm gonna lose. It's like, no, you do the best for them that you can do, because at the end of the day, it's the right fit is what I'm saying. Because like
Right.
sometimes I need people, right, where the rate is lower, but it's like if you don't have, let's say, somebody who doesn't have the equipment, I'm like, I need an FX6 operator. I'm just
Right.
giving an example. And but they don't even own an FX6 now. They could be an FX6 operator because I
Right.
have the camera, right? And I'm like, hey, this is the rate. You can come operate my FX6. Gives me value, gives you value because you don't even have to buy it and have zero investment. 100% is your profit. Now will the rate be the same if somebody's bringing? So I've had, like I said, where
Right.
people have to bring an FX6. No, then it's like, hey, here's your rate, here's your equipment rate.
Right.
You make more money, but then you had to spend 6 plus a couple thousand upfitting it. So let's say $8,000 to get your camera package ready. Then you deserve that extra money for being an operator. Now the same camera, they could go to a direct client and make 10x the money because now they're not labor or equipment rental.
Right.
They are the production company. That's where none of that matters. You just go, hey, I'll make you this
That's what you
for
want.
this, and that's where you win. So that's where the highest income always comes. But it's if you want to be. We have
Right.
friends, who don't want to do that. They're just like,
Yeah.
I just want to be my DP and I'm done.
In and
Like,
out.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with the clients and all
Yeah.
that. The mess that comes with it. So it's not for everyone.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When you cause I did when I first met you, we did a call with guy who owned a restaurant. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh
The
yes,
Zoom
yes,
call.
I remember.
And I was like, man, this guy's really good at like sales and stuff.
Okay,
right? Like,
well, thank you.
Like,
I thought the call wasn't that
oh
great.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Like,
but
nah,
yes,
Vipple
thank you.
sucked.
Yeah.
nah, you crushed it.
Yeah.
But like outside of film, where did you learn like those skills? Was it like just childhood? I mean, you're Indian?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Indian. They
Original.
can sell. Let me tell you something. Hey, they can
Funny.
sell.
Okay,
Never
funny thing
mind.
happened.
Answer my own question.
Yeah, no, but let me ask Mario. You remember we were working recently with an Indian client. What happened with them? I was asking something. Do you remember that? What did he say?
He said, "I don't work with Indians."
Oh,
so we were working with an Indian guy who said. So typically, to be honest, I'm very rarely working with Indian people either. And to be honest, Indian people. There's a reason most tech CEOs tend to be Indian.
Yeah.
Of most companies, I think Apple is the only one that has a white CEO. Like they're all usually of Indian origin. Let's just say Indian. The reason being is, yes, Indians are very, not all, again, it's 1.2 billion people. But yes, in America, at least, they tend to be really good businessmen.
Right.
And they are known to say, oh, hey, Sean, I need video. And you're like, here's a
$1
package for 20,000, right? You present, and then they look at 20,000, they divide it by, they're like, okay, $100.
The prices are crazy.
Yeah,
I'm like, the confidence you got to have to say that number.
But dude, okay, so you want to hear the story?
Yeah.
When I got embarrassed, I still remember this to the day. My mom and I wanted some jeans. I was a kid. I'm talking. I wanted jeans or whatever. And so she took me shopping, right? I found the jeans I liked. I was like, okay, this is the one. And so she literally was like, how much? And let's say he said 2,000 rupees or whatever, right? Dude, I am not kidding. It kidded me embarrassed. She literally said 50.
Oh,
I just turned my eyes and turned. I was embarrassed for the guy.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Here's the lesson learned.
Yeah.
I was like, no. I would have said, okay, haggling, bargaining is the thing in India.
Yeah.
So 2,000, I would probably pay 1,800. Be happy with it, right?
Yeah.
That's what I would have done. But lesson learned. So she said 50. I'm not joking, and with so much confidence.
Yeah.
And I was embarrassed. I was just ready to get out. I was like, I don't need no
can't do
jeans.
this.
I'll wear my old jeans.
Yeah. I got jeans
So,
at home.
and I'm
Mom,
talking, I
stop.
was so young that I still knew that was embarrassing.
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
turned
yeah.
around. Like, even he was like, so he felt, he said it at least. Look, wait, let me finish this.
Yeah.
So he was like, hey, I'm, that's what, you're humiliating me now. Like that there's 2,000 to 50 rupees. So she was like, okay. She's very confident. She turned around. She said, okay, we don't need it.
We don't need it, yeah.
I'm not joking. 5 seconds, he was like, okay, how about 100? And I was like, what just happened? So we bought the jeans for, and I'm like, that makes no sense. That's
it's like 1%
the
of the price.
level of decrease. So yes, Indians are crazy. it's dude, but I'm not like that. To be honest, like I said, I do better business decisions. Like for example, I'm always like, talk about buying gear. Like I'm working with my reps. I'm like trying to get them the lowest. I'm like, hey, this company's giving me this price. You know, I do that, but I don't go crazy on it. You know, I can't do the typical Indian thing. But which is why, funny enough, I don't have that many Indian clients for that reason. Because and that's fine. Again, if it works for them, it works for them.
Yeah.
But I think coming back to your question, dude, I think it's just I think it just comes down to, again, finding your value. Here's what I learned. I grew up with an entrepreneurial, family. We had business that we owned.
Oh, really?
So I saw how my dad interacted with like customers or whatever, right? When they would come into a store or whatever.
Yeah.
And that you just watch that. But you don't have to have an entrepreneurial dad to do that.
Yeah,
you can go to a store and
you
just
see how
that's good customer service or that's bad customer service.
I like that.
Yeah, exactly. You just pick up these things and you can choose. I've seen there's people who are like, look, I know some videographers that are just rude, plain rude to their clients, and they still have clients.
Yeah,
who'll get a client, let's say, who's like, "Hey, I can't do it for 10 grand. Can you do 8?" And they go, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah,
and I'm talking like that. They will talk to their clients like that.
Crazy.
And I'm like, how are you still in business?
Yeah.
So clearly, you have to find your avenue. At least for me, the way I've always done in life, which is why I hated having a job, is I want to be treated. I treat people how I want to be treated, which is. And it doesn't work with everyone. Let me be real. Like my style is like where I'm like, I will have people call me like friends who are like, "Hey, can I just borrow this gear?" Is it financially viable for me? No, because the time to take it. Usually we're going to talk. No, but I'm generally like, yeah, sure. Here's what I would normally charge. Just tell me whatever. Right. Yeah. And I genuinely mean it. You know why? Because sure, I spend a lot of time. If I start to not perceive the real value in it, I'm at a negative. But here's where I'm positive, because I know what I do, it'll come back around. When I need that guy to come on my set and I can Indian thing him and pay him $100 less or whatever than I was gonna pay,
Right.
then he would say yes. And that's why everyone wins, because they get access to something they wouldn't have, and I give them access to what they wouldn't have. But at the end, it's just working with people, man.
Yeah.
I don't take it to heart. I treat people how I want to be treated, and worst case, you can say no. I just said no to an editing gig for a friend. Like I'm always down to help. We've got a team. We can edit, and I'm always down to help. But it was just like, this is not the right fit. The timeline, the budget doesn't work. It is what it is. That doesn't mean I wouldn't help him the other way.
Yeah, you're not cut off for life or nothing like that.
Yeah, so it works. At the end of it's a business, but my business isn't run solely for business. Then I wouldn't be in video anyway. There's 10 things I could do where we can make more money. Right? I do this because I love it, and I'm down to help people. And I think when you do that, it just comes because if you approach it with the idea of helping, let's say somebody calls you, right? And they're like, I need this. And you genuinely are like curious. You're like, sure, but what do you need? What do you want? Like you're trying to figure out the person what they need. And you're like, oh, I get it now. I can do, like you said, for this price, I could do this, and this, right? You give them the best you can. And as long as it works, you work together. You build that relationship. It's not complicated. I think people overcomplicate this. Like, I need to go learn these skills. I need to watch Gary Vee. All these business gurus and whatever. Not saying you shouldn't self-improve, but a lot of times things are simpler. Yeah. If any videographer is listening to me, I think it's just treat people how you want to be treated, and just be nice. Yeah. And say no when you don't think it's the right fit. Because the worst is, let's say you take a gig, but you're not into it. People will notice and nobody will be happy. Same thing. You overtake advantage of the client where they give you 10 grand. Now you're like, oh, I'm making 9 grand profit on this. And you spend very little. Same thing. They'll notice the video. They'll be like, this doesn't feel like it's 10 grand, right? So the point I'm trying to make is it's a balance, right? And then you have to strike. You're like, if I gave someone 10 grand, what would I want them to do? Right. And if you do that, you'll always win. Because you're doing how you want to be treated, and usually most people want to be treated nice. Right. So I think it makes it very simple, because I've had people like, I don't know what my day rate should be, and it's a good valid question to ask. But I'm like, what would you pay yourself? Yeah. No, but I'm saying, what would you pay yourself now? Be real. Like, what would you pay?
How much
yourself?
you need making a day?
Yeah, exactly.
It's really what day
and
rate
then
is.
Tell people that rate, and if they say no, then maybe try a different rate.
You gotta listen to the market will tell you what, and that's the thing too. Like, when I say my rate went up, it's really the market kind of told me my rate, because I was saying 1,200. Like, yep, that sounds great. Yeah,
exactly. When that happens, you're like, hold on.
All right, how about 15? Yep, sounds good. I'm like, 2,000. Let me talk to the boss. Okay, I'm like, okay, now I'm around that range.
Yeah, so you're like, let me try 1,800.
Yeah. You just kind of gotta play it, but you gotta risk hearing a no. You gotta risk saying a number and then be like, nah.
But people also, I think, in our industry don't work like a typical business. So typical business, you go, I bought this laptop for this much. Then I need to make this much for the rent. Right. And this is what I need for utilities. This is for my employees. This is what I need to sell it for. Makes it very easy for a Best Buy to operate. I think videographers don't think of themselves as that way, because guess what? You got electric bills, you got laptop bills, you got internet bills. All that is for business, your cell phone bills, the hours you spend on the phone or calls or anything that counts. Like if I spend, let's say I did a day rate thing for someone for $1,500, but I spent 10 hours on a phone call.
That's different.
Yeah, that's a 20-hour job now, not a 10-hour job, right? So it's people don't account for that. I find that in our industry, it's common to not charge for that. And that's why they end up shortchanging themselves or not charging.
And if you don't charge for it, you still charge for it in the back end.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, okay, your day rate's $1,200, but then you spent 3 days. Now you divide that by 3. Now you really made like $500 a day, or like $300 a day.
And that's why I'm like, I only do day rate stuff for friends. I don't. That's why I go to the clients, because there's just not value in it. Yeah, it's because, and again, no offense, it's just because what I'm bringing on set would be 10x the price. Right. Like I worked with a sound guy recently, and I'm like, amazing kid, amazing guy. But then I was like, I am bringing better equipment than him for about the same money. Plus, I'm bringing cameras, lighting, grip. I'm bringing everything. If I was to do, I'm saying a day rate thing. I'm like, dude, I'm basically charging a sound guy rate, and I'm bringing not only better sound, but I'm bringing all the whole rest of the production, which costs even more, because like lighting, camera is also expensive. But what I'm saying is, like, I'm like, Yeah, I mean, not that that guy was doing wrong. I'm not saying at
Right.
all that what the sound guy's charging or bringing is wrong. It's
Mhm.
just like saying the value that you're giving at some point is incorrect,
Yeah.
right? But then I'm like, oh, I helped a friend. But to be real, there's the other side of it. I had a gig where a friend recently tapped me in. He was like, hey, you want to come help me baby this camera? And I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, let me recommend you a few people, right? Because that's not what I want to do.
Right.
But then he's like, "Hey, I'll give you, X number rate." And then I go, "You know what? You're telling me I don't have to bring anything."
Just gotta
I
look at the camera.
clarified. I was like, "You're telling me I will get up, I will show up, nothing in my head, because that's not normal for
Right.
me." He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, you know what? I'll do it."
Right.
Because if you're telling me I have no expenses, then a lower rate makes more sense. Because
Mhm.
guess what? I have no prep time. I have no call time.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
done
Yeah.
all that. All I'm doing is just going up on set, making sure I bring my skill,
Mhm.
and that's
Mhm.
still value for them because I can help them put a light somewhere or
Yeah.
whatever. There's
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Right. You
they,
never
they
know.
need help with. Yeah. Point is, it's value for them, but it's value for me because um, I had zero investment in it. Because
Right.
so even though it's a lower number, so that's why I also tell people like be flexible because if it depends on what you're doing is your worth. Now,
Mm.
not every job is that 10 grand job, right?
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but for my clients, I'm gonna do way more for 10 grand.
Yeah.
But it would be silly for me to be like, yeah, give me 10 grand for being a camera operator where I
Yeah.
bring
Yeah.
nothing.
That doesn't make
So,
any sense.
so
Yeah.
you just have to plug in and play, and then that's where the network comes in, right?
Mhm.
You plug other into each other's jobs, and
Mhm.
you all grow together, and you
Yeah.
all work together. And I think that's just the right way to move in this
It's the
industry,
best way to do it.
especially what we do,
Mhm.
because the narrative world is very different than what we
Yeah.
do. But what we do, corporate and commercial video,
Yeah.
you can make a very healthy living. You're a prime example of that.
Mhm.
You came in completely different. I mean, not that you didn't know anything about video. Being as a stand-up comedian, you
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
making your
Yeah. I
own
know a
videos.
little bit, but yeah,
Yeah,
nowhere near what I know now.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But within a couple of years, you've been able to scale your business to where you're trending to hit 300K,
Yeah.
right? Which is, and you're making what 2K? You would say average day rate would be where you're trying to
Yeah.
aim
Yeah.
for.
Mhm.
Look at that, and that's doable because, and I know you're not gonna maybe like this,
Yeah.
not because of your filmmaking
Yeah.
skills, but because of your smarts in business,
Mhm.
because you know how to approach people,
Yeah.
how to sell them on projects, and then how to execute them.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
execution part is there, not to cut that
Right.
your
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
skill.
Yeah.
You've been on my sets. I love
Mhm.
you know
Yeah.
I know
Thank
what
you.
you're capable of. But what I'm saying is, but you got there because you knew how to execute,
Right.
how to learn, how to get all that done.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most valuable skill
Yeah.
people can have. It's how to get those clients, how to close those clients,
Mhm.
how to treat them right, how to get them what they want, whatever that is.
Whatever that
Or
is.
yeah,
Or
exactly. And
help them find what they
yeah,
want.
and
Some
then
of them
you
don't know.
can, and then I think the skills follow. Like you said, you didn't know what you know now,
Yeah.
right? That you can acquire, like
Mhm.
right, you acquired.
Or I
Yeah,
can find somebody who knows it.
exactly,
Yeah.
right? And I think that is a very doable thing. That's where people focus on, and that's where I'm like, we have. I'm not selling no courses. We're not trying to make any money from this. This is a passion
Yeah.
project because I want people to listen from people who are
Yeah.
in the ground. We make money from making videos, not making YouTube videos,
Mhm.
and the goal being is to just to let people know, like, hey, operating a camera and all those skills matter, but people value them too much. They go straight into let me
Yeah.
buy this course and I will
It's
somehow
like,
make a living.
can
in
you
this.
have a conversation
Yeah.
with somebody? You know.
Yeah, I think you're better off going and meeting people who are actually making
Yeah.
a living, having coffee, meeting industry people.
Yeah, for
and I
sure.
think David introduced me to Tommy Beal. Have you heard of
Okay.
him? Yeah,
No, I haven't heard of
so
him,
he
no.
was a guy who tracked his journey through 1 year on YouTube.
Mhm.
And David Morefield, he recommended his YouTube channel, whatever. And what I liked about I didn't follow every video, but what I watched was he did it for a year. It made his business improve. But his last video was like he kind of quit almost YouTube because he was
Mm.
like, I got 20% business from YouTube, and I'm just see there was indirect benefits. But most of his, I think 30-40%, whatever the numbers are, income came from quite literally meeting networking events. So
Yeah.
3 networking events gave him more value
Mm.
than 45-50 YouTube videos
Yeah.
that he
So it's
made.
like, why not do 10? You
Why
know?
don't you go out? And that's what he said.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
am I
Yeah.
gonna do? I'm gonna go network more and meet people. So
Yeah.
I think that was really cool to see for some people. I'm saying
Mhm.
whoever was following him because it's like the value in meeting people who can either hire you or
Yeah.
connect with other people who can hire you or just teach you these skills. Because if you know how to talk to a client, you know how to find their need and fulfill their need, you will be successful.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, a quote that I've been working on, kind of like my mission statement for my business is, and for any business, is say what you're supposed to say, be where you're supposed to be, and do what you're supposed to do. Right? And the reason I picked those three is because, like, when I say what you're supposed to say, like, you have to be a good communicator. If you want to be in business, you got to be able to understand what somebody's saying and communicate effectively that you're going to execute on their idea, right? Be where you're supposed to be. The biggest reason clients come to me is that I'm everywhere. Like, my business is on every platform. My SEO is optimized. My website looks nice. I'm in the circles networking with people. I know a lot of people. So I have a lot of opportunities for people to find me. A lot of people, they're just like, oh yeah, just like I posted on Facebook and that's it. You got to be wherever if you're a plumber, get on Google. If you're a dancer, you got to be talking to the dancing schools or something like that. And then do what you're supposed to do. Be good at your work. If you're good at your work and you know how to use your equipment, your tools effectively, you have all three of those. Yeah. I think it's inevitable that you're successful.
Yeah, or find people, and if you're not there, then find the people who are there, and talk to them, hang out with them.
Right, get in those circles.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's so much more valuable than anything else. And at the end of the day, I think also just have fun.
Yeah, you know? Definitely have fun.
Yeah, because a lot of people get.
You might as well work as an accountant if you're not gonna have fun.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's like what we do is kind of fun and creative, and just and in general, just be around cool people. So be a cool person, like you said last season. No, don't be a weirdo.
Don't be a weirdo. That's the quote. Do not be weird. There's a lot of people I have not hired because I'm like, you're weird.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want that on set.
At least hold it in until the shoot's over.
Yeah.
Hold it in. Yeah, keep the weird in until we say that's a wrap. Jeez. Yeah, man.
But I think also focusing on other people's, like businesses too. There's a lot, sure, apertures, shutter angle, whatever, all that matters. But when you're helping someone, they're most likely wanting you because they want to sell, I don't know, more of their food or their product or service, whatever that you're promoting through these videos is. A lot of people just listen and then they go straight into, it'll be cool to do a shot of smoke coming in or punch in or whatever. And you're like, for a minute, you have to slow down and go, what is it that they're selling? Who is gonna buy it? Do they care about a punch in or a smoke? It's like, how is that telling a better story? Now that could be important if it's part of the story. I think that's what a lot of people miss. They're like, what is the story element? Why would they buy it? And if you can solve that, if you could just stop and listen for a second, I think it's so much easier to do what we do. I think just most people just listen 5 words and then just run for it.
Just run for it,
And then the other thing is just, I think, being able to say no. Because it's not a bad thing to say or hear no. Nah. Some people just get butthurt about hearing no. I don't know why. Because you're not gonna get every client. So I don't know. And I get it. It's a human nature to not like being rejected. But at the end of the day, I'm like, if I listen to someone, I give them a solution. And I know you say sales, but I genuinely, like, if I'm saying something, that's what I believe in. Then it's not sales to me. But they may think, oh, they just want to sell me 580. Because if they're a new client, they don't know me yet, right? So they may say, oh no, I'm gonna go with this other option, and it's like, it's okay, awesome, good luck. That's what I do. I'm like, that's fine with me, because at the end of the day, I'm happy that they're getting what they want. Either they're gonna get what they want and they're gonna be very happy, which is good for me, because I want nothing but success for them. Obviously, ideally through me, but if not, cool. And then the other thing would be they don't get what they wanted, and then they call me right back and say, "Hey, maybe we made a mistake.
Messed up,
let's do it." And I'm like, "Let's do it." I don't have that hard feeling, because some people will go, "Oh, you rejected me first time. I'm not working with you now."
Nah, I don't think it's that deep. The way I look at knowing yes is it's weird. Like, yes is more of an isolationist word, because once you say yes to something, you're locked into that world. Versus when you say no, you leave your possibilities open. You know, that's kind of how I look at yes and no, so that way my feelings don't get hurt. Somebody's like, "No, you suck," and I'm like, "Okay, that means I have infinite options to to play with, you know?
Yeah. No, but I want to come back to, so let's switch gears. I really like what you said a few minutes back. That you are where your clients, so everyone can find you.
Right.
How did you achieve that? What you do to make sure people can find you?
I mean, it's been a long process. I think I mean, one, I know a lot of people. That's probably the biggest thing, you know. So like, I went to the filmmaker. I remember the first filmmaker meetup that they had. I was like, I'm kind of tired. I don't want to go. But I'm like, you don't know anybody. You gotta go.
Yeah.
So I went, and I think that's where I met you, Emmanuel, David. Like I met like the core people that I know, and then that network kind of spread. I designed a dope ass website. Website's fire.
Can we pull his website up, Mario?
Oh,
Okay,
snap.
yeah.
Hey, oh, snap. We getting crazy.
Yeah.
Badashfilms.com. I was going to say Ash because people like, Ash? Yeah, built a nice website. I paid to get it SEO optimized. I'm like anywhere that all the freelancer platforms, I'm all of those. They don't really get me as much, but I think because the way the internet works is you have to build a trust factor with your brand. So the more places you are, if you're on blogs, you're on websites, your SEO is optimized, you have an Instagram, Facebook, everything. Now your brand has more trust on the internet, so it ranks higher on SEO. You know, so
All right. Here's the
Look at that.
website.
Let's see
I
what
haven't looked at my
optimization
website
it
in like
is.
I haven't looked at my
This
website in
one?
probably.
Look at that.
Sheesh.
Skateboard,
looks nice.
shoes, jeans.
You know, nothing crazy.
Is this anything with Arles yet, or no?
Nah,
Because
this
it's
is all,
probably
this is
before,
all
right?
like a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, clean cut
Okay,
website.
yeah. Look at that.
You know what I mean? You know. Yeah.
So who did you hire? Did you go to like Fiverr or some other?
I know
for
my
SEO, I'm talking about.
My brother's a web developer.
Okay,
So, yeah,
he did the SEO
went,
for you.
Yeah.
How much do you think it would cost for someone if they wanted to do SEO?
It depends. It depends on like how complicated you want to go. Cause like he was gonna add like a bunch of blogs and stuff to my website. I didn't want to do all that. And he gave it to me for free because he loves me. But
So-
yeah, it just depends on how big your website is.
So have you tested it? Do you actually go into the analytics of it? What number do you come up if somebody Googles video production in Orlando?
I haven't so on that front, I haven't tested
Google it. Google video production in Orlando. Don't change it to it.
Yeah.
Because they have ads and stuff. But
Right.
see if Badass Films comes on
Yeah.
the first page.
Because a lot of my clients who I've talked to recently, they say they found me online. Yeah, either found me on Google or like different search engines and stuff like that. So like majority right now, like about 50% has been.
So how do you approach
online.
that? So that's a very good thing. So let's say they found you in Google, they call you. What's an average call look like for you? What do they
Average
say?
call?
Yeah.
Usually like, hey, how's it go? Usually they send me an email. It's usually through email first. Hey, I'm looking for this.
Yeah.
Okay, you're free for a call. I try to get a call within the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
If you wait too long, they can think, they can look at more people. Honestly, what I really do is I call them as soon as they send me the email.
Yeah. You're like getting on the phone.
Yeah.
Like,
Because that's the thing I realized, like speed matters more than anything.
Yeah.
So it's like if you give them too much time to think, the price might go down or they'll find somebody else.
Yeah.
So they'll give me an email. Hey, Sean, I saw your website. I love this project. I'm looking for something just like that. And they're always like, what's the rate? And I'm like, I'm not about to just give you a rate over the email.
Exactly. So how do you answer that? Because that'd be a lot of people will have that. Because a lot of people just think, it's like buying another thing, which is not.
It's not.
It's like buying art, which complicated.
It's complicated, yeah.
So how do you tackle that question? Like, what's your rate?
Yeah, usually I'm like, well, I like to get on a call first and figure out what exactly you're looking for because this project, it took me a few days, different camera equipment. I got to figure out what your needs are. So are you free within the next couple hours for a quick phone? If you're sending me an email,
Let's say you're on
free.
the phone call.
I'm on
they
the
say,
call.
what's your rate? But you have no idea yet, right?
Yeah.
So how are you going to answer them?
What are you looking for?
So do you say like the rates depend on what you're looking for?
I just ask like, what do you? I don't even say it depends.
I
want
a 3-minute video for my company website.
You want a 3-minute video?
How much is that gonna cost?
Am I filming it or you just want us to edit your
No,
3-minute video?
you're filming it. You do everything. I don't know anything.
So what's the
this.
project? What are you filming?
I don't know. I don't know anything
You don't
about
know?
video.
So what's your industry?
Okay, I'm a real estate.
You're a real estate agent?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're looking for like a highlight video for a home, a brand piece for your brand?
Yeah, that.
A highlight video for a home?
No,
okay.
for me.
Oh, for you?
Yeah, I want to promote me.
Have you ever done anything like that before? No,
I have
never
no
done-
idea.
No idea at all. Okay. And you want a 3-minute video. You have any examples of
No,
other
I've got
people?
nothing.
You have nothing at all.
Yeah.
So why are
Where's
you
this
looking for a
gonna
video?
cost?
Where's this coming from?
I know.
I think you should look on
yeah.
Instagram before you call me.
I'm making it too difficult on you. But no, I get the idea.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I like what you're doing. I think the point of this was people will panic and they
Right.
give a number. 500.
Yeah.
$2,000.
I can't give a
500
number.
bucks.
Yeah.
The thing is, that's arbitrary. I feel like
Yeah.
my advice to my clients is if somebody just gives you a number, you run. It's the opposite
Right.
of
Yeah.
other things. Like, if I go to buy a product, I want a price immediately.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'm like something shady.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
opposite here. If somebody gives you a price, because they're like, what is the price for?
Right.
Unless you
Yeah.
know what you're making,
Yeah.
how many days or hours or whatever
Yeah.
you need.
Mm-hmm. And I've been on some,
Yeah.
like the call, like
Yeah.
the fake call we just
Yeah.
did. I've been on some calls like that where like they just do not want to give me any details, but they want a number more than anything, and I physically cannot give you a number.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a liar if I just like, oh yeah, okay. Because I have in the past where I've given a number and then I shoot myself in the foot in the long run, where I'm like, damn, I shouldn't have said. I didn't know it was gonna be
Yeah.
this complicated. So I really the biggest thing on the calls is like, what are you looking for? Trying to figure out what the day is gonna look like. How cinematic of a video are you
Yeah.
looking for? Is it something real simple? Social media? Do you want 10 videos? Is it 1 3-minute or 10 30-second videos? Like, what are we trying to do? And get them to come up with the answer. That way I can say, you said, I put that all in the contract.
Yeah.
I have the scope of work. And like you said that this is what you're looking for. And this is what I'm going to do.
Exactly.
Now here's a number.
So let's talk. Any recent projects that you did? You don't have to give the exact project, but I would love for you to break down on. I charge, and it doesn't have to be exact number. Like I
Yeah.
charge them $10,000.
Right.
This is what
The breakdown looks like.
how first you presented to the client, but
Right.
then how you actually broke down as a producer. The budget.
Well, I had a recent the commercial project that the client reached out to me for. He originally his budget was like I think like a couple $1,000s, but then he showed me an example. So I love getting
Yeah.
examples. Examples are the best. Once he showed me an example, I'm like, oh yeah, you need a way higher budget than that. He's like, okay, yeah, well, let me know what the budget looks like. So I went through, calculated the budget, and then put together like what the team looks like. So that's kind of how I use that to calculate the budget. So I'm like, okay, I need a half a day for the shot list, director, gaffer, producer, assistant director, AC, lighting, all this type of stuff. But I knew like because his original budget was only a couple thousand, I can't hit him with a $50,000.
Yeah, that wouldn't make sense.
That wouldn't make sense. Like I already know you probably can't afford nothing like that, but maybe you can afford around 10 to 15, So I try to keep everyone's race within that range. And then I pitched it to him basically, hey, like, looked at everything. If you want something of that quality, which I think you deserve because of the product that you're pushing out, you would want to have something of that quality. You don't want to cheap out on it. This is what the price looks like. And he was like, oh, okay, yeah, it makes sense.
So what would that price be? And then how would you break it down? And so the customer, client, whatever, what sort of rough price point you'd say on this commercial would be?
On this one, so right now it's around 12.
So let's say 12. Okay.
Yeah.
So now let's see the internal side of it. I want people
Yeah.
to see the producer brain.
Yeah.
You're given 12, client says yes. How would you roughly break it down?
Right.
And what kind of profit are you looking for?
Obviously,
Obviously, that's not your rate.
Yeah,
'Cause,
yeah,
you have
yeah.
your rate and then a company profit. Yeah.
Right. All of it, it's all on my Excel spreadsheet, but I think the biggest thing was like we have the pre-production side, which was like probably I'll do it in percentages.
Yeah.
Pre-production was probably about 10 to 15% of the entire
And that's
rate.
your time to plan it,
Plan everything,
calls, everything. Yeah,
all of that, and then the production side was like around 70%.
Makes sense. That's the most expensive.
Yeah, it's the
thing
most expensive side, and then the last part was an additional 15% for the edit.
for the post.
Yeah.
And then now, what can you pull in? Because obviously, the more you do, the more you can pull in for yourself. Are you
Right.
gonna do the edit yourself? Or are you gonna give it
So
to an
I'm gonna
editor?
edit, but I'm gonna have someone else do the color
So
grading.
you're gonna post that you're
Yeah.
gonna offset, but you can keep that post
Right,
income most of it.
yeah.
Because you're gonna edit yourself.
Right.
Yeah. What about the production? Are you gonna be able to do anything
So
in house?
I just have my director's rate, and then all of the like the because I have insurances
Yeah,
and
you
stuff
need all
built
that,
in.
yeah.
I pay for that, but it's kind of like coming to me in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pre-production rate.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, healthy margin. So you'd say what? What would be a percent wise that you think
That
you
for
can,
me,
that
about
you,
20,
in the end you can get it?
probably about 15,
15, 20. Yeah,
15,
that's pretty
20.
good. And that's
Yeah.
not accounting for post, right?
Right.
So
yeah.
once you add post And the pre-production, you're looking at what, a healthy 45% margin, you'd say?
Nah, I probably wouldn't
Maybe
say
40?
that. I think like 30.
30?
Yeah. Because right now the thing I'm running into, the way I have the budget, I have my Excel spreadsheet, I have the budget lined up, what I budgeted for, what the client expects, and then I have my total spent category for like what each category actually costs. So like, let's say I have a DP and like I budgeted for 1,200, but he's like, hey, I'm 18. So now I got to add him to the total spent 18. So now I got to find somewhere else to take off $300 to bring it, to make it all add up to 12,400. So I think that's what I'm running into now is like, and it's at the end of the day, my budget is the least important, my pay. So like, hey, if I got to pay this guy an extra 300 to get a better quality DP, I'll take 300 out of my rate and add it to theirs. You know, so like it brings my percentage down from 40 down to 30. So I'm probably gonna end up with around 20%, 20 to 30, which is fine.
Pretty good. 20 to 40 is the standard,
right?
So that's pretty good. And the reason is I want people to hear is like people think 10 grand, they think, oh, 10 grand.
Yeah,
it's like not actually 10 grand once you know. And to make a good video, that's why it costs money. You know, you need people, you need crew.
Oh, dude, I've done a couple $10,000 projects where I'm like, I only made like 1,000.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, that may be a little on the low side. Yeah, but I guess
that's when I first started. You know, so it's like, okay, $10,000 project. I'm like, oh, I got a chance to make something super crazy.
See that? Yeah, if you're doing a portfolio piece, it's okay sometimes.
Right.
I know friends who'll even take a loss because. But it was worth it because if you got 50 grand in projects from it, and you haven't done anything like that, then it'd be worth it. Now you don't tell the client
of course.
You know, you book it, but now you go over, right? You're like, hey, let me just bring in that extra little sauce on it too that you don't have the budget for,
right?
But to take it to the next level, right? No, I think that's very smart. Now, coming to the other side of it, how's things at home, personal life? How are you managing with family with all this extra workload that you added?
Honestly, I don't work that much. yeah, I be chilling, man.
Lazy Sean.
I am lazy. So when I first started, I was working all the time, which I think was good. When you're getting your gas going, your engine going, you got to really just hit the ground running. So I was working all the time. I'm working any job I can get. If it's a $200 job, $500 job, if it's free, I was just doing everything. So I was busy. Now a big reason why I've also wanted to increase my rate is because I kind of like hearing no now, because no means I have my time, you know. But if I get a yes, I only need one yes to compensate for 7 yeses 2 years ago. So back in the day, I need 7 $500 jobs versus I only need like two $2,000 jobs, and I'm good.
Exactly, yeah. Especially the smaller jobs, I'm sure. Obviously, 10 grand, you gotta spend more. But on those few $1,000 corporate type of jobs, you can make more profit because
I can make more
mostly
profit.
you, right?
Right.
Are you doing any jobs like that still? That where it's just you? You doing all of it, like sound?
Not camera? Really. Nah. Now I've been.
What's your minimum that you aim for nowadays?
Oh, like as total budget for a client? Minimum usually. Probably like around 35 to 4,000.
Yeah.
That way I can at least have one other person to help out.
Exactly. You and an assistant, and then you can get healthy profit once you take their money.
Sometimes, I mean, but a lot of times, like, if I'm being real, I like working with my friends. So, like, I work with Oliver a lot. Yeah. So I'm just like, all right, cool. I'm going to get Oliver on this shoot. Even if I'm making less money, at least I get my friend working with me.
And that's the networking side of it, right? And I'm sure then he does a repeat, right? He's gonna be
same, exactly.
Be able to bring you on his set. It may not justify, but then you're like, hey, it makes sense because he's gonna bring me. You know, again, you're helping each other.
Yeah. So I'm like, any shoot I have, I'm just like, well, it has to be 2 people.
Yeah. No,
I don't like working by myself.
No, it's very difficult. So but that's a pretty good range that you have there. What's the highest project you've done so far?
Highest, I think, was. I think by the end of it, like 15,000. Yeah,
that's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
For one video, or is that for
one
multiple?
video?
One video.
Yeah.
$15,000 video. That's pretty good.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
And you've been traveling a lot too, right?
Yeah, a little bit of travel. Lately, I'm going to next week. 2 weeks from now, I'm going to Ohio. Then I'm going to a shoot in Las Vegas, and then I have another shoot in Ohio again in August.
Ooh, how'd you get these jobs?
These are just networking. Yeah. So these are old clients that I work with that. They just want to fly me out.
Look at that. Look at that. All right. Anything else that you learned in the last 6 months?
In the last 6 months.
And then I want to talk about NAB, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But let's.
In the last 6 months, Not really. I'm always learning. So it's like I'm just constantly trying to build my skill level up. So like right now I've been leaning more into the director side of things. I know Orlando isn't the best place to grow as a director. But it's something it's my passion more than being a DP. Especially coming from a comedy background, sketch comedy. I love storytelling. I'm always writing. So right now I guess that's the biggest thing I'm learning, like trying to learn how to be a better director. So with the commercial that we're shooting in a few weeks, I'll be directing it. The casting is pretty much done for the most part. We just got a location. So now I'm like, all right, cool. And I gotta sit and direct the team. And
you gotta figure it out, which is the main thing, right? You're like the puppet master, right?
And even now, like with the cast we have, I'm like, I got their auditions and like some of their acting is okay, some is really good, but it's like, all right, I gotta figure out how to get you where I need you to go. And that's what excites me more than anything.
So let's talk about NAB. So I know you went this year. Because that's where you said you got your or talked to DZ about your Arles, right?
Yeah.
So what made you want to go? Was that your first industry conference?
Yes, first time.
So what made you want to go to NAB?
My friends were there.
Makes it easy, right?
Yeah.
So would you say you got, because you weren't sponsored or anything, right? You went with your own money.
Yeah,
right?
own money.
So would you say you got the value out of it? And then what would that value be?
I did get some value out of it. I mean, it wasn't that much money to go.
So how many people were you guys?
I mean, it was like 12 of us.
12, wow. So
like
big group.
Big group. So the Airbnb was cheap.
Yeah.
The tickets, I think we got them for free.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing I got I would say, I mean, I never put my hands on an Ari camera. So I got, I get to play with an Ari, or I get to see, I saw the DZO lenses. And I met a lot of really cool people. From lots of different backgrounds, whether it's DP, gaffer, grips, people from all over the country. I met someone he's a professional musician and he does like music scoring for videos and stuff like that. And he's like probably one of the best that I've ever seen. He's good, so like I think the networking was the biggest thing I gained from it, to know people from all over the country. That's invaluable.
So would you recommend to someone who's like maybe new or been in the industry a few years to visit an industry conference? It doesn't have to be NAB.
Yeah.
The Cine gear. There's a lot of conferences, but would you recommend it? And what would you say would be the right approach?
I think I'd recommend it if you know how to connect with people. If you don't know how to connect with people, figure that out here first and then go. I network all the time, and I don't look at it like a job networking, but like, hey, how you doing? What's up, man? I try to get to know people. If you're that kind of person, or you can figure out how to be that kind of person, go shake hands. We met, Shane Halbert. So we're standing there, and Oliver just asked him for a quick photo, and then he just started talking to us for an hour, and just talking to us about like different projects he's working on, his course and everything, and then he invites us to his private party after NAB. So that we're hanging out with like him, his family, other people inside of his course. He took a picture, gave me a hug and stuff. I was like, oh, this is crazy.
Yeah. And this is the good thing about our industry. So even though you may go, this DP, or the thing is, we're not that famous. We're not like, I'm saying people in our industry are not like, even the famous people are not like celebrities.
Right.
So it's not a factor. You can approach famous DPs and directors, and usually you can have a conversation, and they're really chill.
And he approached us for the most part.
Exactly, yeah.
I was like,
they love, because they love what they do, and they want to talk about it, right? They don't have that typical celebrity factor. Where
right.
Like,
get away from me.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
is so cool, because now you can talk to industry experts and leaders without having that pushback.
And that's why I think for anybody that wanted to go, I would say go, because you never know, you might bump show. Because like we just mainly had a conversation, we hung out with him afterwards, but it could have turned into like we became tight.
Yeah.
And then now.
And you never know, next time when you go, he's there.
What's up?
Yeah, right.
Again? What's going on, man? Like, you want to come to the house for dinner? I'm like, yeah. I'm kind of hungry.
What are you feeding me?
Right? What do you guys have? You guys make a steak?
So, what about brands? Was there any value in meeting any brands or anything?
I mean, I have a connection at DZO now, so that was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and I think they give you a discount on the lenses too.
But I can't talk about that.
Yeah. Oh, it's
delete that.
Oh,
yeah. Like I met the DZO people, but I noticed a lot of the people around at NAB, they know other industry leaders. So like the CEO of Black Magic. I have a friend that knows him, and
Yeah.
people know the executives at Aputure. You know, so it's like, and I think that's from going all the time. You meet people and you buy stuff there.
Yeah, you form relationships.
Yeah, get a business card and just keep connected with people, and you never know what that could
So
lead
did you
into.
buy your lenses there, or you bought them later?
I bought them. I had the conversation there, but I think I guess it was that night. Yeah. I didn't buy it at NAB, but I bought them that night. Yeah.
Look at that. And then obviously it took them a while to ship them, right?
Yeah.
Or did they have them? Did they give you the test set they have there?
No, they shipped them out to me.
Because I think those were very new. They just showed them off.
Brand new. Yeah.
Fresh out the box. Crazy. Look at that.
Yeah.
So going back to the lenses a little bit. So I know like we talked in the YouTube video, but what I really want to know is what made you go with the Lustre? And I know they were the hot topic,
right?
Obviously, but like, so as a DP, here's what I looked at. Right, when I was looking at both lenses, I was like, both look amazing because again, the same lens, right? They definitely craftsmanship wise amazing for price that you're paying per lens. It's incredible. Main thing for me was like, oh, here's a lens I get that's 1.4, beautiful, warm look, fits in most projects, and I can and very detailed is what I would explain it, but still have that nice fall off. I really love the fall off on them. But then I can quickly throw like an Hollywood Black Magic filter on it, or some other kind of diopter, something on it to give it that vintage or some kind of character that people are looking for, right? I wouldn't call them characterless, but they don't have that much character. Versus when I looked at Lustre, I was like, ooh, same thing, but a lot more character. A lot more vintage looking, a lot more flaring. A lot of that cool stuff. Same look, but a lot more character. But I cannot remove it. So that's at least my thought process going in. I was like, okay, so I can add it, but I can't remove it, even though this looks beautiful. But what if a project says, oh, I don't want that look. I don't remove it. So because you could have bought either with them. I'm sure they would have been happy to help you with either. What made you justify that I want the look there all the time?
I think we had the same mindset when buying them. It's just in reverse. So like, I was like, okay, I want my videos to have a look to them. And the Lustre provided that. So like, I'm gonna get those. And if I don't want to look, I'm like, most likely all my videos, I'm gonna like the look with these Lustre lenses. If I don't want to look, I'll just rent the Arles.
Makes absolute sense.
You know what I mean?
And see, I had the exact reverse stuff. I was like, ooh, and if on the look, I'll just rent the Lustre. So this is so amazing. And this is why I want people to hear this conversation, is because neither of us are wrong. It's just the thought process. And it's the same thought process, technically. You're like, hey, I want the look.
But if I don't want it, I can or I can just shoot my photo glass.
Exactly.
Like, I'll be okay.
You have options. It's not like you're limited. I mean, there's so many cheaper clinical or nicer lenses out there, like Nisi Athenas and Aureus. I think they just came out. So I'm saying you have a lot of options. So it justifies. It's the same thing for me. I was like, if I want the look, they themselves might make like Vespids, and there's so many options that have the look. So I can get the look, or you could just add filtration to give Arles,
give it,
a look. So it totally justifies. I don't think the approach is at all. Technically, I think it's the same approach. It's just
same approach.
Which first approach you want to go with.
I mean, because like you said, like your clientele, you probably don't want to have a look on majority of your shoots. It's very clean, For me,
we want to do it, but we do it in post.
But like, posts don't look the same.
I mean, it's not gonna have that vintagey character.
It's not gonna have
I try to avoid vintagey character unless we're doing like a documentary. That's where it's perfect.
Well, so like the lenses don't really have. It's not necessarily vintage, unless you have like the flaring is the biggest thing with the lenses. Like it looks pretty much exactly the same as the Arles, except for the flaring. That amber, and the flares. Have you seen the flare?
No, they look nice. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The look is amazing. It's just how they flare up. Even the Arles flare up really nice, but they're not amber, right?
They're not amber. So like for my clients, I'm like we just shot a corporate like web banner piece with the Arles Lustre the other day, and I'm like, the client's like, whoa. This is in, like, she kept saying Netflix. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, my clients like it. It has, if you see stuff on my page, it's going to have a specific style and tone to it. So it's like, okay, I can stand out from the competition in a lot of ways in the aspect.
No, that's a very good way to think about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's mainly what it is. I think people
Yeah.
should hear the approach.
Right.
And there's no right or wrong
There's
approach.
really
It's
not.
just your
It's
approach.
what I like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, your clients will be happy if you give them a good review.
Yeah, that's all that really
I
matters.
don't even
yeah.
know they know
Yeah.
the difference between them. Like, oh, you had the Lustre,
Yeah,
not the
yeah,
you had
yeah,
the
they don't care.
Vespids, whatever.
And I do a lot of documentary style shooting too, so I think that's a big thing. So like a lot of my stuff is like run and gun, or I wouldn't use these for corporate events, but for like a brand story piece where it can have like a nice unique look for a brand, I'm like, can't beat it.
Have you put it on your B cam yet? What's your B cam again?
A7S3.
A7S3.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
pretty much like an FX3. So how has that been comparing for you A and B?
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
What adapters did you go for?
PL mount.
PLT, but is there a specific brand you went with or no?
I got them on B&H. They're a little pricey, but I don't think there's a specific brand.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah,
But
no, that's
it
fine.
works.
And if anyone wants to see the difference, we did do a YouTube video so they can go compare
Check it
the
out.
two, and see which one they like better. But I think either way you can't go wrong. And like I said, it definitely changed my mind on these
Right.
Chinese lenses. I was like, this is incredible. They've come far
Yeah.
since I used the Pictor zoom.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy.
And I'm even thinking about the Vespid 2 now because I was
yeah.
like,
With the cook, it has a cook technology in there.
yeah, it also has that the eye data, the data, which I've been thinking about them for my 8K Ronin because they're smaller. That's
Yeah.
where Arles. So
Yeah,
Arles
you can't
are
put the
fine.
Arles on that.
Yeah, you can. So I was like, if we can go put those on there for the time we want it.
I actually just bought another cinema set. The Typok.
Oh, Typhoid,
Samara C.
yeah.
Yeah.
What made you go for them? So you have a clinical set now, then?
Yeah.
They're clinical, right? If I remember.
They're more like they're just like basic cinema lenses.
Yeah.
They look clean.
Yeah.
Nothing really special except for like the edges.
I saw them, but I wasn't that impressed. So what made you go with them?
Well, I wanted a smaller set. And
same thing, something for gimbals.
Something for gimbal, you know.
Why did you not go for Vespid 2s? Because or Vespid even ones, they would match way better with
I
the
feel like
Lustre.
I like how the Typok looked more.
Okay.
Yeah,
really?
I feel like it had more of a commercial look when I was looking at it. I think the Vespid, when I was looking, I'm like, it kind of has a little bit of like a retro feel.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff I was seeing. And also when I was at, that's a big reason I wanted to go to NAB. I wanted to play with all these cinema lenses.
To see what you like,
See,
right?
like, you see these YouTubers, but it's like, you're not showing me what I want to see.
How much is this set? Sorry.
I think like $3,500 for the 5 lens kit.
Wow, that's so cheap.
Yeah.
They're killing with prices.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. So DZO actually owns Typok. That's like a subsidiary company. So kind of like talking to my connection.
So same thing. You could probably get a deal on them.
Yeah,
but you can't talk about it.
Can't talk about it. Delete that.
That's so crazy. What?
Ah, man. Yeah. So like, I just talked to her. I was like, hey, like you guys can you throw these in with my Lustre set? And she was like, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Right, well, it wasn't the same price, but
I know what you mean.
They
did a deal with you, obviously,
Right.
which is fair because
Right.
you're buying this much,
Right. Buying a lot of stuff. And so like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm like, I can't, my A7S can use the Arles, but like if I'm on a gimbal, if I'm on
it's too big
handheld
for
all
gimbal.
day,
That's the only thing I realized. Which not that we were doing gimbal, we were doing handheld. Poor Emmanuel,
he's struggling.
his arms must have been tired.
Yeah,
No, because we did this, what 3 days, 2.5 days, roughly, right, Mario?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2.5 days.
Yeah. So it was pretty long days. And so for Emmanuel to be hand holding and but I think he did great. But yeah,
Right.
those lenses are amazing. I
Yeah.
mean on sticks and even handheld,
Yeah.
I think they work great. But I wouldn't put an arm on a gimbal.
Yeah,
And that's what I'm saying. My Ronin 8K wouldn't even handle it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I need
yeah.
a set now where I'm using Arles to go with it, right?
Mhm.
So
the Vespid would probably be perfect for that.
yeah,
but,
that's what I was thinking about. But again, like you said, I need to go to one of these industry conferences.
And
Maybe I'll
so you
wait
can
till
play
next
with 'em.
NAB. Or what's the one that happens in September?
Cinegear or something like
No,
that.
Cinegear just happened. Ugh, come on.
Eee.
Look up what's the conference, like video production conference in September, October?
Where's it
Let me
at?
check.
New York or here?
Not here. Infocom just happened too. That's
Yeah,
local.
Infocom is here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that already happened. There's one that happens.
Yeah.
There's so many. I'm forgetting.
Yeah.
Hopefully Mario can find out.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, I need to go to, like you said, one of these conferences, just test them out
play 'em out, play
and
with
see
'em.
which one.
Is it Post Production World?
No,
Las Vegas? Not that one?
no.
Yeah,
It's all right.
when I was at NAB, we
Oh.
played with we had the Nisi, the Blazar. There was some other brands I've never heard of, Dizio,
there's so
Sure.
many.
Yeah, and I got to play with all of them. I'm like, okay,
Viltrox is even making lenses.
yeah,
And then what's the one that I like? To be honest, Laowa.
yeah,
I own their Pro blends. They're also killing it.
yeah,
I need to upgrade my Pro blends, and I was just like, now I'm debating because I'm
yeah.
like,
So what do we do?
DZO came out with one too. So I'm like, do I go with Laowa, the one I have in the past, or
Yeah,
do I go with DZO? So this is
Yes.
where I think an industry conference is perfect.
makes sense.
You can go test it
Right.
out, see which one you
See
like
what you
better
like.
before you commit.
And after playing, I played with like the Nisi new I forgot the Athena or
Aureus is the new one.
Aureus. Yeah, those were nice, but it was like too perfect.
Yeah.
There was no character.
Which is
at
why
all.
I'm like I was very close to buying those. But
Yeah.
then I'm like I don't know where to fit them.
Yeah.
I might as well just
And
use
they did like
G-Master.
we were doing like the flare test, and it was honestly like no flare. I'm like, oh my, this is weird.
Yeah.
And then the Blazar, I'm like, that's too much. Sure, they had some cool lenses, but it didn't really speak to me. But when I picked up the Lustre and we had it on, they put it on, I think it was like a red Komodo or something like that. I was like, oh, this is immediately. I'm like,
Yeah.
I never seen something so beautiful.
So how would you compare that to the Typoc Samara C? I think.
Typoc, I feel like that's just a little bit higher jump than a photo glass, like a G Master.
Mm-hmm.
It just has a little bit more of that cinematic quality.
Yeah, the fall off basically.
fall off,
Yeah, that you're looking for. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So it's like probably like a 15% jump over a G Master lens versus like the Arles are like a 50%.
Yeah,
jump.
that's a
It's a
completely
big jump. Yeah.
But it's also a certain look. You are
Right.
buying into the way I would say is emulating Cook look. 'Cause
Right.
Both of them are warmer.
Right.
They have that thing where the skin tone is giving you that look. So it is a look that you're buying into.
Right.
But it's cleaner than their, let's say, Vespids.
Right,
Which
yeah.
are, like you said, they're straight up vintage.
Yeah.
Like modern vintage.
Modern
you can say.
vintage. Yeah,
Versus
I like that.
these but like I said, I was surprised. I'm glad I
You made a
bought
good
them.
choice.
I
Good choice.
genuinely was like not sure. 'Cause
Yeah.
my thing is, again, I buy things I'm gonna use.
Yeah.
And we're about to use them again on
Yeah.
Tuesday, so they're gonna get used. So
Mhm.
so I'm like, okay, that means it's a good investment.
Right.
They're gonna get used. They're gonna get rented out. They're gonna pay for themselves. Because
Mhm.
initially I was worried. I was like, who's gonna am I gonna
Right.
use them again? And then so what's next for investments? So it seems like you've been investing
I'm
in
done.
gear. You think you're done? Are you sure?
I think so.
Why don't I believe it?
I think I'm done because I mean,
So if
like,
you could add anything, let's
only thing,
make it hypothetical. If you could add anything to your kit, what would it be?
the only two things I could see in the next 5 years would possibly be a 1200-watt light. God, I don't like renting gear a lot of times because I'm like, sometimes I'm like, hey, I got to shoot tomorrow
Yeah.
and I got to find this gear, I got to find this light. I'm like, I have everything I need, so I'm good. So probably a 1200-watt light because that's something that I've needed a few times, and I feel like it rents pretty well if you have a 1200. And then possibly another camera. Yeah.
What camera are you thinking? Anything in mind?
I
yet?
mean, I Black Magic is nice.
the
but-
Pixis, the 12K.
Nah, I like this. The Cine is nice too.
Mhm.
But I'm waiting to see if one of my friends guesses. I can just use
Exactly.
theirs.
That's smart move, see?
I don't have anything like, because like you look at like the red. The red has something
Yeah.
special. It's like the filmic quality about like the red cameras. Here we go.
I mean, yeah,
it's nice.
yeah,
It's nice.
Yeah, no, the red cameras are nice.
Yeah.
But I feel like for me, at least, they're not limited to just virtual production.
Right.
I haven't used them outside of virtual production. Now again,
Yeah.
Nikon bought them. They may hopefully do something really cool.
Right.
I have nothing against red. I love red
Yeah,
cameras.
yeah,
I
yeah.
used to own multiples.
Mhm.
I just know that they never paid for themselves.
Right.
That's
yeah.
all I know.
That's
My
the thing.
experience is
Yeah.
like,
So that's why I wouldn't buy one.
Yeah.
Cause honestly, if I was going for like quality, it might sound crazy, but some of the videos I've seen on like the Lumix cameras,
oh, the new ones are killing.
I'm
it.
like, yo, I wish you didn't have that Lumix logo on your camera.
I mean, they could come back. I don't know why they killed their cinema division, which I mean, I guess we all know.
Oh, is that what
Eva
happened?
one.
They got rid of their cinema division?
So they had the last one was. I mean, they had they had really crazy. Cameras,
Yeah.
I think. They were used. I mean, for movie making. Too,
Right.
but I'm saying the last one they released that was like more like FX6 style was the Eva 1 or whatever. I
How
think it
long ago was
called.
that?
5-6 years ago.
Wow,
I think.
yeah.
It just didn't work. It didn't sell.
work for them,
So they
yeah.
killed the division. But they are now coming back with a bang. Like I said, I used
Yeah.
to have Lumix cameras.
Dude, they're
Back in the day.
nice.
And they are, I think, coming back with,
Yeah.
And also in my school, actually, when I went to school, that's the
Mhm.
cameras they were using. So the Panasonic's been in the
Yeah.
industry, But
underrated, very underrated.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
They have stiff competition. If they even decide to bring cinema division, they don't have to. But the thing with Sony and RE and all these like they have is like you can upgrade. Like with Sony, you can literally go up to the Burano, but then to the Venice too, and you can go make a Hollywood movie. Right? There's no like, what do I use? Like you can go be like making your next movie, and you can have a FX3 crash cam, FX2 crash cam, FX6. As your C cam, whatever. Point is, there's a whole ecosystem, which is how they win it. Not that the cameras are better or whatever.
Right.
Venice 2 is now fully accepted in all levels of production. I'm talking top-end movies. I mean, what? Top Gun was shot on a Venice or Venice 2, right? Point is, like, they're somehow they've broken through that RE. They still have the full grip, but
they're like, they're another industry standard you can choose.
Yes, but Sony's now fully accepted. Like, you're like, I'm making my movie in Venice too. Nobody's gonna blink an eye on you.
Sounds good.
So the advantage to you get is like, hey, I know an FX3 that you can now grow into full movie without like making a full movie without changing brands or whatever, which Panasonic doesn't have. I think they're currently targeting content creator market.
Right, yeah.
Which is good.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah, and the cameras are cheap.
Yeah,
they shoot
they
well.
look so good, bro. Yeah. Like, Oliver has, I forgot which Lumix he has on G8 some, whatever, Mark II. But, like, we shot a video for KFC, and, like, I shot my FX6, he shot his Lumix, and I'm going through and editing. I'm like, why do these shots just look creamy? It looked like I had a cinema lens on
and
it.
I think now you can even buy the Log C, RE Log C on them. I think it's like an upgrade.
They just added that,
which, again, that doesn't make it RE, but you can get that straight log out of it. You don't have to go do the conversion and resolve. So, dude,
I wouldn't buy it, but I think in the next few years, and this is like 5 years, that's probably really the only two things I need.
But have you been paying attention? Guess who's making a film camera?
Fuji. Yeah, we saw that. Yeah. They didn't let us play. It was in like a glass box, but we looked at it. I'm like, that thing looks sick. Fuji's, that'd be insane.
Dude, Fuji knows how to do colors. They got the
branding.
I know people have talked about like color sounds of Canon and RE and red and all this, but Fuji knows how to color.
Yeah.
They've been in the game too long.
Yeah.
So again, not saying I don't have interest in the camera.
Right.
I don't know if it'll be accepted by the industry, but there's a high chance of Fuji making a camera and it being accepted than Panasonic. That's just the truth.
It's just
and they are already making it.
Yeah.
And it's also a medium format sensor, so which is gonna be crazy. To have that huge of a sensor.
Yeah.
The industry is already struggling because movies are still made on Super 35.
Yeah.
So there's still obviously a lot of movies are being made on large format, but I wonder who's gonna make a movie on medium format. That's gonna be crazy. Like IMAX movies.
I wonder when. That should be coming out like next year, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to come out this year.
This year?
But they have very little information.
Yeah. They just had a box and then they were like, this is the camera.
Yeah, they don't have to do much is what I'm saying. They're Fuji.
Yeah.
So
and their booth was hot at NAB, so they're good.
So but the thing is that they're not, they know how to make lenses. They know how to make cameras. It's just their first foray into like a cinema world.
Yeah.
And not that they're doing anything different. What's crazy is I think it's the same sensor as this in the GFX Mark II or whatever. So it's not like we haven't seen this sensor.
Right.
It's just I don't know that many cameras that have that giant sensor. So it may be something to look out for. Not that it matters again.
Right.
Just like Pixis 12K. Could I buy one? Yes, I could have bought 3 Pixis 12Ks for the I paid for my Ronin 8K because you have to add accessories and all the stuff to make it basically work. And I was like, I could have easily bought 3 Pixis 12Ks. So I think it just comes down, at least for me, it's just demand. If you start calling me, you're like, Vipul, if you buy, I need a 12K operator or whatever.
Right.
I'm like, okay, it makes sense. But until that happens, it just doesn't make sense. Because the camera may be beautiful, the sensor may be beautiful, but so is, like you said, a Lumix. So is the 8K. So is FX6. Cameras are just so good now. I don't think it matters. It just matters what you get hired to do.
I think if I was looking at the Ronin a while ago, and I'm like, if I did buy a camera, I probably would have got that one too because I'm like, it has something that none of the other cameras have.
And here's my thing. So like I said, I was looking at Burano. Here's the way I justified it. I was looking at Burano and Ronin was always in my back of my mind. The thing is, I would have bought 6K a long time ago when it came out. The thing was, every video I saw, it had that moire issue or moire, basically
with
patterns.
The patterns
and I try to tell my clients not to wear pattern shirts, you know. For interviews, I can't guarantee it. They may have some employee, and and obviously I know you could diffuse it. You could try to take it out. I just didn't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
Plus, the whole point of that camera would be run and gun.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have patterns of white balance. So the 6K looked incredible. I just could never justify it. Plus the sensor was not the best. So what I hate though is you can get a 6K for 5K and it doubles your price just to upgrade the sensor to 10K.
Yeah.
I think the price they're asking for 8K is a little too much. I know you get the 1 terabyte card and a lens in it, so it's not.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, still a 1 terabyte card, a lens, and an 8K from 6K should not double the price of the camera. I still think they charge too much, but that's why I got it, because the 8K has the OLPF. So, which means no more ratio. Plus, skin tones look nicer. The sensor's better, and then it can do shots that my FX6 can.
Right.
I'm not replacing my FX6s or any other cameras, even
course.
FX3s.
But if you need a specific kind of shot, it can do it.
Exactly, especially events and conferences or fast run and gun stuff. I love the tracking part.
Yeah.
Like with a normal gimbal, not that we've all learned the ninja walk, right? This just saves you from having to do the ninja walk. So you just track, you move the camera, it automatically tracks, you get the shot. So again, I think it's very unique. Yeah. And now I think it's being accepted, which it took 3 years to get accepted, but now it's been on Civil War. It's on $1.cents, so it's being accepted by Hollywood finally. I think there was another movie that Mel Gibson directed, a Flight Risk, I think. They also used it there. So multiple movies now have used the Ronin and TV show. So I think it's finally getting accepted, and I think it's for that reason. It's just so unique. It doesn't replace any camera. It's its own thing.
But it's something that no other camera can do. It has.
And so far, in my limited time, so we've only had it for a little bit. Yeah. So I don't want a full review comment. I'll probably drop a YouTube video at some point. But the main thing for me was just the weight. I don't know why the camera is so heavy, because it's actually a very small body.
Small, yeah.
All it is a gimbal, a 4-axis gimbal with a very, and I'm talking the native glass too, so it's very lightweight. Yeah. Plastic, essentially. And then a small body. I don't understand where the weight is.
Yeah.
Why is it dense? And I even tried the V-mount, the small V-mount battery.
Is it the body that's really heavy?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not the heaviest. If you compare to FX6 on a gimbal, it's probably lighter. But I'm saying compared to like FX3 on a gimbal, it's very heavy, and to go all day would require obviously some strong arm muscles.
Can you easy rig it?
Yeah. That would be the way. I would probably have to go back. Yeah. So I basically sold my easy rig. Yeah. I went to Cine Saddle stuff. It's called the SAC right there. I don't know if you see it. Yeah. And it's great for FX6 and FX3 because you can rest it. Yeah. It gives you that handheld look. But it won't work because the sensor's out at the bottom for the Ronin. So I have to buy an easy rig again. So that's more expensive for a camera.
Now, I will say the only downside for me with the Ronin, it's an ugly camera.
Yes.
It's the ugliest camera of all time.
See, this is why I would never show up just with that. You show up with these, and then you're like, here's the...
Yeah, because like your client will probably be like, oh, wow, look at the buttons on the FX6. That's so cool. What kind of camera is that? Ronin's like, ooh.
Yeah, and that's crazy is that I would say with accessories, you can buy 2 FX6s for the price of one of those. So it does not look its price. I completely agree with
definitely
you,
doesn't.
But it does not look like anything else on the market.
That too.
And the shots that you can get, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a sole camera. Yeah. I wouldn't just go buy it as your only camera.
No.
But I do think it's a very good B or C camera where you're like,
I need this.
I need my interview or my whatever A-roll, and now I need moving shots, walk-in talks, where B-roll, tracking shots. I think that's where it fits in. That's where at least we're gonna try and fit in, and hopefully it'll work great. But yeah, I'm excited. Like I said on my last episode, the lineup, I did some thought process too. Where do I see Bender production? And to be honest, having used Reds, having used REs, having used Lumix, I've used, I don't know any camera. I really was like, this is what makes most sense and makes money. I am still going to invest in a Burano, I think. That'll become the primary, like I said, that'd be the offer for the medium-sized shoots, right? With the Arles or maybe a couple more lens sensors. So a Burano, 2 FX6s, 2 FX3s, and FX2 for photography mainly. I know people don't like that camera, but I think it's going to fit well. I'm going to get rid of my FX30s. They're just sitting brand new there. I just don't use Super 35. Yeah. It's really good camera, but it's not for me. And then Ronin 4D8K will be our like run and gun style, camera. And I think that's a very good lineup as a production company. What do you think, Mario? About the lineup?
I think it's great. Yeah. Wait a second. Here, okay. Yeah. No, I think it's great. If you're selling the FX30, maybe I can buy it from you.
There you go.
There you
There you
got
go.
a
Yeah,
good
no,
deal.
I'll
they've
need
been.
some.
See,
$20.
here's what I
You
think
got
about
tell him $1.
Yeah,
You learned a sales lesson
Yeah.
today.
Great deal.
yeah. No, I'll tell you why. My initial investment to FX30 was it made absolute sense. You're
Yeah.
telling me FX3, I think one of the most. I don't like mirrorless cameras,
Yeah.
and I was like, wow, this is perfect. I know some people have complaints about it. I like the way FX3 and
Yeah.
the buttons are laid out. So I was like, you're telling me I can have the exact same body, but for like less than half the price, and I
Yeah.
could fit in and it'll deploy with the same lens, the same. You see what I'm saying? It just was a
Yeah,
perfect fit. The problem is, I don't like mixing formats. I have nothing against Super 35 or APS-C, whatever you can call it. The thing is, I just don't like mixing the look.
Right.
And so I bought them brand new. They're literally matching serial numbers. Like, one's like a 2, the other's 3. Like,
Yeah.
they came out of the same box. So they were bought at the same time. And they have been used one camera like once and one twice.
Yeah.
So and the reason is wherever I try to deploy them, amazing camera, really good look. Even photos, 33 megapixel. The look wouldn't match. The photo doesn't match to a full frame look. Right, so if you're in the if you own 2 FX30s, I think you're good as a production company. But because the lenses would be cheaper with the Sigma's new, and I don't know if you saw the 17 to 40 millimeter,
Yeah.
1.8.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That lens would be incredible. I used to have the original, the 1835 1.8. So I'm saying they have great lenses that are cheaper, that are nicer, but it only works, I think, at least for me, if you're all the cameras match. I don't like mixing a Super 35 full frame. Somebody may, and good for them. But yeah, that's basically where I'm at. Even though it's incredible cameras, they don't fit in my workflow. And I'd rather not have two things sit. I'd rather it be go and deploy it and somebody else get a really good use out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to get rid of them. It's basically sitting brand new.
All right, you heard that.
Get an
Benja's doing a sale.
FX2. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I give the FX2 because I think for me, even though it's a terrible thing from Sony, the way they're doing it, I think it fits better because it's it can do photo and video at the same time, so I can deploy and more
bounce
for
back and
those
forth.
shoots where we're just
Yeah,
doing
you classic.
corporate
Can you get a
stuff.
photo real quick?
Yeah,
It's
or can you do
all right,
headshots?
Yeah, I
You
got
quickly
you.
headshots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Can't believe it's been 2 hours
Yes,
already.
yes. Oof,
Second time.
man.
What do you think? So before we go, I want to ask you, what do you think about? So you are one of the few people who were in season 1 is going to be on season 2. How would you compare the two?
I like it. I like the setup. I love the setup a lot more. I feel like it's cozy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I gotta see the final product before I can.
You can
give
see
you-
it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The head is still shining.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we got. Yeah, I love it. Man.
Yeah.
I think you're on the right track, bro. Yeah.
And what do you think about Mario? Should we keep him or should we fire him?
Mario's always welcome, man.
Yeah.
Mario's a vibe. If it wasn't for Mario, I wouldn't be here right now.
You hear that, Mario?
I can't
Yeah.
just.
So
for
I really
Mario.
wanted to do that Joe Rogan thing where we can
Yeah.
pull up things, we can see.
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
I don't know, just make it more interactive.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Yeah.
Plus, I like Mario. He's a good
Yeah,
guy.
Mario's a vibe.
I
Maybe
like
I'll
you
sell
too,
my
people.
FX30.
I like you too.
All right, this has been fun. So again, thank you, Sean, for coming. Before we go, please tell people even though I know we pulled your website up, tell people your website, your Instagram, where they can find you.
Just type in Badass Films on Google and you'll find me.
And that's Ash.
Ash,
ASH. No
Ash,
type badass films. I don't know what comes
I
up.
don't know who that is.
But it's always a pleasure talking to you, man. I really like the conversations that we have. They're so fun, and it just I don't know. It just brings that energy of why I love what I do.
Yeah.
It's because I get to talk to people like you and have you in my network. It's just incredible. And now with the asset that you purchase of like lenses, I know I also have a person that I can approach to rent equipment from or whatever. I think it's just incredible. So again, it's been a
another reason
pleasure.
I bought 'em.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but no, thank you for coming and keep watching. See you next Thursday.
See you next time.